Well, all good things come to an end, and we're at the series finale of Ahsoka. And we might have some guests on here that might not agree that it's a good thing, but that it's a good thing that it's ending. Either way, let's get into this. All right, welcome back to the Ahsoka Breakdown Show here on Paul's Collectibles. This is the series finale for both the season and this show. Thanks for joining us. Before we get started, as always, though, Kat, how are you doing, ma'am? It's good to see you for this final show 2 weeks late or a week late.
I know. You know, it was so weird not to have to watch an episode on Tuesday. I was like, oh yeah, Ahsoka, wait a minute. Like, I kind of missed that. And I was like, oh. But then I was like, oh, I have been slacking on show notes. So allow me to catch up. But I'm excited to dig into it and see what our guests think. So
Absolutely. Scuba Pete, how are you doing, sir? It's always good to see you as well, man.
Good to see you guys. I looked forward to this. I can't wait to talk about Loki. Oh, wrong show.
All right. Yeah. I haven't even seen that episode yet. How many are up?
I haven't either. I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah.
We've watched Haunted Mansion, which I, quite enjoyed. That's all. We're
Okay.
talking Disney Plus stuff.
I actually got a chance to sit down yesterday to film a video, if you saw it, but to watch a little bit of TV last night. And then today is going to be, when we're done here, I'm just going to go melt into the couch because I've been so busy and try to catch up on a bunch of stuff. So, all right. Well, before we get started, we're going to go over to chat, see who's joining us, and say some highs. You guys cool with that?
Yeah. Yep.
absolutely.
All right.
Dude,
Front and center, right off the bat there, Kat. Look at that. Michael
good day,
Reed.
Michael.
Yeah. Blue Sasquatch. First of all, it's good to see it. He makes that comment
All the time.
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
his signature. That's
Yeah.
his signature.
Is this live? There's Rolando.
Rolando.
I love saying his name. It's fun. Matt, it's
Matt.
Hey,
good to
Matt.
see you. I know you're probably working. And then everybody's favorite Vader's girl. Good to see you, man.
I know her.
Yeah, we know that girl. Hey, Shabby.
Sebby.
We
Yay.
may or may not be seeing more of him later. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. There we go. Got a G-Force in the house.
Hey,
you guys.
G-Force.
Hi, G-Force.
Let's come on down here. Wow, Kat, you are busy in chat, girl. Thanks for being
I
yeah.
thought it's the last show. Got to interact more with our amazing chat. So
I appreciate that. You make a good
That's
ambassador.
yeah.
There's Hoppy's Creations. I think he's
Hey,
100%.
Hoppy.
You guys, yeah, 100% on his
Yep.
attendance. Good for you, man. I appreciate it. Let's come on down here. There's everybody saying, "Hey, there's," and you guys
Alan.
always know what happens when my brother shows up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to see you, Alan. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's jumping. You know what? I get the impression this might be a little bit of a busy episode, you guys. There's,
so.
yeah,
You-
there's Ubaldo,
Ubaldo.
Although,
Evan Gregoire,
and then
Blue X.
what?
Blue.
I am having fun. Mr. B. Man, we got a full house.
What's going on?
You know what, Pete? They're just here to see Kat. We both know that, right?
Well,
let's just
yeah,
be honest.
sure.
Yeah, let's just be honest about this.
A rose between two thorns.
Yes,
no.
exactly. Yeah. Oh,
No,
check
no.
it out. We may or may not, against my better judgment, be seeing more of Rick lately too.
I think he and Shabby are arm wrestling in the green room.
They probably are. Yeah, over the 5 red M&Ms I could find. So that was it. Yeah.
They're mine.
Yeah. There's Tony
Tony.
Craven. Yep. Oh man, it is hop-a-toppin' up in here. There's Mr. Rez. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
Rez.
yeah. Oh, I get a kick out of doing that video. It's fun. Oh man. Okay, I think that got us all the way down, and everybody. So there's Mr. B. Anyway, so let's get going here, you guys. Kat, as always, you know me. I like to pretend like I'm chivalrous most of the time, and we're going to start with you. And this, since we only have a half hour, you guys, we're going to just kind of Kat, this final episode. Why don't you just kind of give me your overall thoughts and kind of a stream of consciousness, ma'am? Tell me what you think.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. I know.
So for me, so here's the biggest thing to know about me. I'm a hypocrite when it comes to the Night Sisters. Okay.
Okay.
I love them from my video game errors, seeing them, being able to hang out with them, getting reputation points so they don't kill me automatically on sight. But I don't like the witchy parts.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't like zombies. Like that creeps me out. So for me, it was just too much of that. So I'm just like, we didn't need that this whole series. I didn't need this last episode either. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. It ended with a lot of more questions again, which I love. So to me, I'm like, they have to do a second season.
Right.
That type thing. And of course, you have to end the last episode with my boy. So I'm glad they did that. So even though they had some stuff I didn't like, I'm glad they ended it with Anakin. So I'm happy.
Yeah, fair enough. This is the only thing I was happy about. Matt makes a good point. We were finally right about the troopers. They finally became the death. Yeah. So, oh goodness. Kat, before I go over to Pete, I want to ask you one question. Then you're hoping for a second season, like you just said.
Yes.
What do we do about Ray Stevenson's character, ma'am? What are you hoping they do, and what do you think they'll do?
I'm so torn. Like the problem is you could get somebody that looks similar, with the beard and everything like that. Mm-hmm. I just don't know that right there you go. Try out. There's probably going to be some screenings, subscribe to some California, newspapers, my problem is I don't know that anybody could capture what he did with that character.
Yeah.
It was he is such an amazing character. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like part of me, like, even though AI is scary and you can pretend to be somebody else and look exactly like them, I don't know that they could really capture him. So you can't just not talk about the character in season 2, obviously.
Right.
So I honestly don't know how they would handle it, but I would feel bad for if they did get another actor to step in. I don't think it's going to be the same. And I would feel bad for them because they have such huge shoes to fill that I don't know that they could pull it off. So
I agree.
I'm unsure, but you need something, about his character. You can't just leave him hanging. The whole point of him separating, leaving Thrawn and all that and going off to that light, you need something. So
his was the most interesting arc in the whole show. You can't just ignore it now. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can't do Joaquin Phoenix stepping into the Joker after Heath Ledger. He does no way. So he just took the Joker in an entirely different direction. And I don't think you're going to be able to do that with Bale and Skull either. So it'll be interesting for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pete, over to you, sir. Give me some final thoughts on this final episode. How did it leave you feeling?
Final thoughts. I was up, I was down. It was mixed emotion because I'm like, what the heck? Ezra's building a lightsaber after he said he didn't need one. We're having to really struggle to hold up the T6 shuttle, and I'm like, didn't Yoda kind of just go on the X-wing out of the Dagobah swamp? I'm like, why hooray! I'm like, and then there was a whole Sabine got powers. I was pissed. I'm like, no, have her a little bit, but not when she was like, Sabine, help out, help open the door. And I'm like, oh, she's playing coach now. Like, you can do it. Mm-hmm. A little bit, but the whole force jump, I'm like, shit sakes. Hot mess. But I like the whole Thrawn departure. I like the big hyperspace ring and all the, getting the Sanford and Son Star Destroyer loaded up into it, with the clamps, and I like that mechanical stuff. The Witches of Eastwick, I like that they screwed over Morgan.
Right.
You're not going. You're also, because they're like, she's doing that whole
Psych.
The night troopers will do it for you, Thrawn, and he's like, oh, they'll do it for the Empire. And you. You don't have a ticket to ride. See ya.
She don't got a ticket to ride, and it seems like she cares. Exactly.
For Dathomir.
Oh God, for Dathomir.
The whole Michael Jackson, thriller zombies. Mm-hmm. I liked the zombies in Clone Wars when they brought those Night Sisters alive on Dathomir to battle. I like that. They had the glowing eyes and the whole creature.
Mhm.
I think I liked it a whole lot better in cartoon form than I did in live action, because I'm just
Yeah.
like screaming at the TV, cut their legs off, you know. Cut
Right.
their arm off. Stop skewering them. We know that doesn't work anymore. Even a zombie doesn't die when you skewer them. So
Right.
just, decapitate, get rid of the appendages. But the whole, like, they really oversold the thriller aspect. I expected
Yeah.
Vincent Price to, and the hounds of hell, as they're going up the staircase, like they're coming, and they're really, overselling
Right.
and I'm like, oh, really? Come on.
They
Right.
should have probably asked the guys from Walking Dead to help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've done it a little better in the beginning, so.
I mean, I like that they reanimated them. I thought that was cool. But just how that played out was just a little too, like, it's thriller.
At least the death troopers that were actually
at least they were.
Yeah.
But you know what? To my point, what was the whole gnawing thing like on her? Because I was like, that's cool, and then no, we're not doing the whole like brains. I'm like, come on. The Ahsoka Morgan battle was a little too choreographed once again, rather than it being just like, ooh, that was a cool fight scene. It was like, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and all the troopers are just watching, like, cool. I'm like, weren't you guys just zombieing? Really?
They're on
Pete?
break. Union rules.
I could go on. Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh. Whoa.
Glitchy.
Yeah, that
Did
was.
you say a bad word? Is that why it glitched?
No, I don't know. That was weird. Can you guys hear me okay still?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
My video might go a little weird. That's odd. So anyway, Pete, really quick before I move back over to Kat here, the Balin Skull Ray Stevenson thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? What would you hope they would do, and what do you think they're going to do?
So that was one of the things I really liked, is how that ended with him, on the arm of the father, because I was, like freeze framed it, and I'm like, back it up, and I was, yes, the father. You had the son, but then it was cool that the daughter's statue was like all broken and missing, just like we saw in Clone Wars on the Mortis episodes. I liked how that, gave us a cliffhanger, if you will. He's on that finger pointing to the glowing peak. I think they should recast him now, so that when we maybe work him into the movie somehow, we're not all like, who's that?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But spend some serious quality time trying to find somebody with the acting chops that Ray had and similar features. I don't think he's just got to be full on, a copy, but at least a nod. But the acting skills have got to be there. Don't just like, he's a pretty face. Yep, you can be Ray.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Kat, back over to you, ma'am. The overall series as a whole, it seems like as we did this, there were some ups and downs, but overall, how did you feel about the whole series? It didn't really answer a lot of questions, frankly, but what did you think, ma'am?
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we talked about this before. I'm very easy to please with it, but I love seeing that she was so damaged in the beginning, and it reminded me a lot of Kenobi. Kenobi was so damaged. He was riddled with PTSD. He worked through it. He got past it. And we got that for Ahsoka. That's all I ever wanted, is because she was so upset with everything and she struggled so much. So the fact to be able to see her work past that, go on to this whole new level, like, I'm excited for season 2. I think there's going to be a lot of parts that I don't like. Because since they did go back on Dathomir, and I mean, who's buried there? Asajj Ventress, so we'll probably see her again. But
oh boy.
I'm really excited. I really enjoyed it. I love that it went to Mortis instead of the Clone Emperor, because I was really afraid for that since I can't stand that.
Uh-huh.
But so I'm happy,
I second that.
I'd mentioned a little bit with it, but then it's like, well, they all died in that episode. So who is it? Or is it because it's so focused on the Force? Is it them? Like how Anakin showed up? He showed up, did they come back like Anakin, Force Ghost type thing? So but it just opens up so much more. But I truly just enjoyed it. I loved watching her journey. I loved how she got peace, so I really enjoyed it, minus the last episode.
Fair enough. Pete, over to you, sir. The series as a whole, unnecessary, necessary, stupid, good. What did you think, sir?
Necessary. I mean, Ahsoka's always been a favorite character of mine since Clone Wars, so it was great to see her have this big character arc. I thought it was very necessary. I enjoyed the series as a whole. I wouldn't put it in the category of Obi-Wan or Book of Boba. Yeah. This is in with Mandalorian 1 and 2, and
Okay.
I quite enjoyed it.
Well, let's stick with you for a second then, Pete. What was the one thing or the couple of things that they did well for this whole series that just really kept you coming back?
I think it's the cheap answer, but I like good fan service, and to have so much of that play in, whether it be the Force God owl that shows up, or the sound effects of the Millennium Falcon crashing, not crashing, but not starting up, as the T6 is crashing. That those kind of nods all through this series, I so enjoyed.
Nice. Kat, for you, I think I can guess one of them, but what did they do? What did they do well in this series for you, ma'am?
I have a list of things, but obviously the first one I put with hearts around it is Anakin. Because I said this from the beginning. You can't have Ahsoka's story without Anakin. They were so intertwined and so much crap happened between them. Like, you can't have it. But, you can be worried about how they're going to reintroduce him. Is it going to be flashbacks? And I thought they did it brilliantly, because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know, that wasn't very good. Trying to pull back. But I loved every second he was on the screen with it. I didn't think it was misplaced. I didn't think it was awkward. I felt the emotion when we needed to. I loved all of that with it. I really liked Hewing. I love droids, right? I absolutely just adore them. Like, we've always loved R2 growing up, because he's always sassy, because C-3PO is always uptight and stuff like that. And so you get to see more personality. So you get Chopper, who we loved in the animated series, which we brought him back, and I felt like his little attitude, like when they talked about having that droid there or whatever they said, he's like, what? Right. Oh, I'm gonna fight, that.
You want a piece of me?
Right, exactly. So they hit him on the head. And then with Hewing, just his relationship with Ahsoka, and you kind of do, you build these personal relationships in the Star Wars universe with your droid, and I felt like he brought so much to that character. So I absolutely just loved him. And then, I'm sorry, but Balin and Shin, holy crap, they weren't just your normal Siths. They were mercenaries with something deeper. Him talking, I trained you to be more than that. And then him saying, no, there's this higher purpose. I'm tired of this crap. Wait, what? That's not normal. That's not what we see. Mercenaries, So they hit so many highs for me. So, yeah.
Wow. So suffice it to say, Kat liked the series. That's good to hear.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
That whole casting David Tennant as Huang's voice, genius.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Kat, let's stick with you then for a second. I know this might be a little difficult for you, other than the last episode, but what's the main thing that sticks out in your head that they just did poorly? Actually, I remember. What did they do poorly, Kat? I think I know.
Hera and Sabine.
Yeah. Exactly.
I cannot stand them in live action. Like, okay, let alone get over the aesthetics. Okay, I can deal with her Leiku being messed up. I can deal with her having too long of a torso and all that. Like, okay, fine, get over it. her acting sucks.
Yeah.
She can't eye act. I mean, the most acting did was her behind. Like it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
She was just so annoying. I'm sorry. She's not just this general ready to fight. Oh, kind of have no. Where's the love? Where's the emotion from her? Even with the reunion with Ezra when he came out, which I actually really liked. Right, he came back. Listen,
no, you're right.
I mean, a little like I could see she was a little confused of like, holy crap, like she was taken back, but it wasn't that. Like she didn't like well up in her eyes, like, holy crap, it's my kid. He came back. Look how grown he is. It's been 10 years. She would have felt that in the animation, for goodness sakes. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many.
Stop being wooden.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's not my Hera. That's not who I fell in love with the series. So, and then Sabine. Okay, I really like her in the animated series. She annoyed the crap out of me. And everybody can be a Force user now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why can't I use the Force then? I've been trying to use it longer than she has. But
exactly.
We're gonna get you some nice sake cups.
Fuck me.
Oh,
but
my
yeah,
goodness.
she's a mess. She's a mess as a character as well. But
Hera was, the word I would use is unsophisticated. The character was not very sophisticated at all.
Yeah.
Pete, I think I have some visual proof of one of the things that you didn't like, but I'll turn it over to you, sir. What did they do poorly that just kind of stuck in your craw, as my grandfather used to say?
Yeah, one was Thrawn's physical appearance. There he is. Yes, I like it. I love it. And then we have, go ahead. What the heck is going on? He's just Ronald McDonald.
No, it's my worst nightmare.
Oh my God.
I can't spend a little bit of money on the makeup chair, some prosthetics, elongate his face if you're dead set on having, like, you know, again, I've said it before, you close your eyes and you're like, yep, obviously he's Thrawn, that magical voice. But his physicality just isn't there. And it's like, and I started to go back after this episode and I'm like, that's what just severely bugs me is you know what he looks like in Rebels. And then they just kind of went, yeah, we don't have the budget for that, but we do have blue makeup, right? We're like, yes, sir. We have some left over from the Smurfs. I don't, you know, it just doesn't. So it, that always, enough. Yeah, it pulls me out because he was so stoic in Rebels, along with that just sinister, cool, calm, collected voice. And to me, you know, so that.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah. Yes. Huh? Uh-oh.
Mrs. Pete's watching. Is she still in Greece?
No, she's back.
Okay.
She came back last weekend.
Hi, Leslie. All right. Go, Pete. Sorry. What else?
What else did they do poorly? That whole Hera mini arc of like, what are we doing as her as the general and getting called on the carpet? I'm like, now that we've finished season 1, I hope there's a season 2. Why did we have to have that? Like, we didn't flash back to that enough to give it street creds. Like, we worked on it a little bit mid-season, and then it was like, yeah, whatever. So,
got it.
I didn't like that. And yes, I don't like that Sabine is, you know, all of a sudden she's a Force user. It's like, God, I want her to be lousy for longer.
Yep. Blue X puts it best. Her with the Force is just redonkulous. I don't think anyway. No one's here to see me. I think you guys make some excellent points, and I agree with all of them, quite frankly. And I think we could probably do a 2-hour episode on how us, the fandom, could have improved this so much better. But we'll just leave it at that. Kat, we're coming up on just about 5 minutes left before we get our first guest on. But I'd like to get your number rating and then maybe a couple of reasons why you gave it that number rating for the entire series, 1 to 10, ma'am.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Just because I had to duct it because I get weirded out with zombie stuff. So I'm not crazy about that. So that deducts, but Anakin saved it because it would have been lower.
I noticed every
very
time
end.
we hit a lull,
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
threw
So
Anakin up there for
I
you.
hit,
Yeah.
and then you had in Hera and Sabine and that type stuff. So Anakin brought it back up to an 8. But overall, I really enjoyed the series, so I was really happy with it.
Well, good. Did you have fun doing this show with me and Pete?
Absolutely. Like I was like stressing out about it. I was like, I need to take more notes. I need to research this, and I forgot about this. And then half of the stuff sometimes I researched I never even said, but I had so much fun doing it.
It happens.
And I'm just like, right. I mean, this whole notebook is just filled. So I have all these pages filled, and I will keep them forever. But no, I enjoyed all of it. I'm kind of sad that this is our last episode. I'm glad we postponed it a week to kind of make it last longer. But I've absolutely enjoyed that.
By Cat.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kat. It has been a pleasure.
Yes.
Pete, with the couple of minutes that we have left before I drag one of my English friends on here kicking and screaming, what's your thoughts whole season 1 to 10 and a couple of reasons why, sir?
I give it an 8 because I can dance to it.
You're so silly.
No, I thought it was a great adventure. It was overall good Star Wars TV, and as I said before we started this whole thing, my Star Wars TV bar is set pretty doggone low.
Right? Yeah.
It used to be up high, and then Book of Boba Fett kind of smacked it down, and Obi-Wan smacked it down, and I'm like, okay.
He wrote a Rancor. That should make it higher. Like, he wrote a freaking Rancor.
I still would rather see the Book of Cat than the Book of Boba Fett. You playing that video game you were talking about. That was terrible. Oh, my goodness. And Pete, same to you, sir. Final question. You're the man about town and got a lot going on, but did you have fun taking some time out every Thursday and hanging out with me and Kat?
I had a blast. I mean, I guess I do these dissections mentally and rapidly when you're watching any kind of Star Wars content. So it was fun to really put your cap on and rewatch this more than once, twice. And like I said, take plenty of copious notes, and you're watching it and you're like, ooh, and you got to pause and and then we have great conversation about that, whether you loved it, hated it. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, you guys have both been very awesome, and I've appreciated having you. And I hope that whatever negative opinions, of which there are many, you got of me, you'll hopefully forget as the time goes on.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right.
I guess.
Yeah, I know. And then there was that Paul's Collectibles guy. Oh my God, what a waste of time that was. Right? Yeah. No. You guys don't even know how hard it took, how long and how hard I had to work to get two people to actually admit they liked me to come on this show. You know what I mean? So
I think it helped because I didn't know you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Pete vouched me for some reason, and now he's regretting it, right? Yeah, exactly.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I know.
I have my first helmet. You bastard.
Gotcha, Pete. You're going to get more, too.
I know.
All right. Well, it's been fun, you guys, and I agree with your assessment. I would be a little lower. I would be around a 7, but still not bad. You know, at the end of the day, it's still Star Wars, and as long as they don't completely wreck my OT, which they didn't here, I'm good to go. Yeah. So, and with that, we're going to start getting our guests on.
Nice.
I took hosts, prerogative, and I put my guest on first. And so I get to interview my guest first. So I'm going first. And you guys, everybody in the community knows this guy. He's like the smoothest, calmest guy on the planet. I love watching his videos. Does a lot of restorations and stuff like that. He and I don't collect anything close to the same, but I still enjoy his videos. And that is, my friends, VTR Dave.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Dave, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very good.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Yes. Is that a Paul's Collectibles hat, Dave? Look at you. That's awesome. Yes, I am a cult of personality officially now. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the quality of this hat. I did buy it from a dodgy Chinese site. I think it might be counterfeit, but you know. Right. Hey.
Yeah. I'm gonna refer you to Interpol. I think that's counterfeit merchandise there, Dave. Man.
It's funny you say. You know, we have very different collections, very different styles of channel, but I love your stuff, man. I love it.
Oh, thanks.
Hello,
Yeah,
Kat. I don't think we've been on a stream together before, so
yeah.
I know.
hello. I know.
Right.
And Scuba, how you doing, man?
Sup, dude?
I know you guys know each other. That's the whole video
Oh,
of you
yeah.
two canoodling together. So yeah.
I've been in that very room.
Yes, John.
He has, yes.
I'm going. I'm
I
going.
couldn't get him out. He was
No. Dinner.
Go
I'm like,
home.
no.
Yeah, Cat's like, go back to the States now, Pete. God, yeah.
We're no longer friends. Get out.
Right, yeah, exactly. Oh man, you guys have cracked me up. Dave, you've been in the chat the entire time, and I love your modesty because you're like, this isn't really my thing, but you watched all the episodes. You were here almost every of one of our episodes, and you contributed to the conversation greatly. So I think you're going to have plenty to say that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen the cartoons. I haven't seen Clone Wars. I haven't seen Rebels. My background is fairly limited, but I'm glad you invited me on for my deep expertise in Star Wars and my insights.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I've been enjoying the review shows because I get to learn a little bit as well. So I watched the episode and then I watched your show, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's what that means, and blah blah blah.
Ah,
Cool.
So yeah. But
Kat took us all to school this year. It was awesome. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Dave, what were your overall thoughts on just this finale episode? Did it leave you wanting more, or are you happy? What's up?
Certainly wanting more. I think it was kind of inevitable what happened. I mean, it was, Thrawn was always going to leave, right, the planet. I don't think there was any other outcomes. So it's kind of inevitable what's going to happen. But just going to pick up on the zombies, right? I mean, I love zombies like anyone else. I love all those horror films with zombies. But for me, it kind of steps out of the world of Star Wars. It was just a little bit too far out for me. I mean, yeah, I was kind of expecting Michael Jackson to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting Ezra to turn around and transform. But it was almost a kind of jump in the shark moment for me. It was just a bit, just a step too far. But hey, it was fun. It was entertaining. I'm all right with that. The thing that annoyed me though. And I think you know what I'm going to say, because I've been consistent about this since show one. Sabine.
Yeah.
My God. It just annoyed me. I knew that it was she was going to kind of sort of save the day at the end, and I knew that was going to happen, and I knew when it was going to happen, it was just going to annoy me even more. Because I just think the fact that she somehow had these super force skills, I didn't like that. And people say, well, that was her journey. She learned this stuff. But throughout the whole series, if I remember, she got captured and was pretty much a prisoner for most of it. So when did she do all of this training? I mean, and any training she did, she just kind of gave up after 5 seconds. So I don't know. I'm not a Sabine
Valid
fan.
point.
I'm not a Sabine fan in this.
The sake cup was half empty.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
The slacker Gen Z Jedi for sure. Yeah.
But I kind of liked, talking about the zombies. I did kind of like the Night Sisters though, because I like them just because, with the whole Force business, I can imagine that being sort of slightly twisted to kind of represent magical powers. I can sort of see that happening. And I kind of like the characters as well. And I think that probably, again, Balin, I thought was amazing. I mean, the actor was just awesome, right through to the end of that last episode. I didn't really understand all of the statue bits at the end, but I mean, visually.
How much time you got, Dave? I'll explain it.
I mean, visually, it was awesome. But my only thing about Balin and the Shin is I don't think they made the most of them. I think at the beginning of the the sort of first half of the whole. I may be wandering into other questions here, but
No, go.
The first half of the series, I thought Balin and Shin, where are they going to go? What's going to happen with them? And Shin in particular, I thought at the beginning, she was just the most amazing character in the whole thing, right, with her eyes and everything else. But she just kind of fizzled out, and it was just it was a little disappointing, really, for me. So I think they could have made more of that.
I agree.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed that final show. I mean, it's entertaining. At least they wrapped it up. And yeah, we'll see whether there's a series 2 or not.
Dave, you keep using that word. I don't think that word means what you think it means. Wrapped it up. They just kind of just unwrapped everything and left. I just kind of left everything hanging, if you ask me. But that's fair. Okay. I was like, this is it. We did 8 episodes to be exactly where we started. No one knows what's going on. Okay, fair. All right,
That's
cool.
the thing,
Yeah.
right? I think the whole point, and we come on to this later. The whole point of this series, I think, was just for Thrawn to escape the planet. That was really the point of the series, and he did.
Ah,
right?
okay.
And so now that kind of that sort of chapter is done, right? So now we see what happens with Thrawn, right? And what havoc he can wreak on the galaxy.
That's fair. You know what? That's a good point. Everything else was, they called the series Ahsoka, and that's probably what threw me off because it didn't have anything to do with Ahsoka. So, so Dave, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you'd like to go into a little bit more in depth on this one, like the series as a whole, what are some of the thoughts you had on the series as a whole? Necessary, good, stupid, what? What you got, man?
Well, I don't know in my comments, but no, look, I keep thinking back to, people comment on Raiders of the Lost Ark and they ask, what if Indy wasn't in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the Nazis would still find the Ark, they would go to the island, they would open up and they'd all die, right? And I feel that there's a really similar thing here in Ahsoka. If Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera weren't in the series, the outcome would be exactly the same.
Right.
And actually Ezra probably would have been able to, hitch a ride on the ship with much more ease because they wouldn't have been so obvious that he was trying to get on the ship. But
peel off his armor on like he's done in the.
This is the problem I've got with the whole series. It's kind of like, really, what was the point? I mean, it's kind of like, what Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, why were you there? I mean, you didn't really do anything. So it's
Wow.
that's good.
In fact, it's probably worse.
Why were you in your own show?
Right. Yeah.
It's probably worse because Sabine and Ahsoka are now stuck on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they weren't there, they would have been with Hera and the others, ready to battle Thrawn. So I don't know. I just think this is the state of Disney Star Wars a little bit. It's kind of the stories for me just need to be a little bit deeper. But hey, I watched every episode, so I'm the hypocrite here. I watched it all and I enjoyed it. But if you look at it too critically, you can just pick it apart quite easily.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They should have called the show instead of Ahsoka. It should have been Balin Skull and the Thrawn or something like that. Yeah. Agree, Dave. Yeah. What are they doing in their own show? That's going to be my motto for the next one of these we do. What are you doing in your own show? You don't need to be here. That's awesome. Well, Dave, let me ask you this, then, since you're obviously a pragmatist and you're like, well, I'm kind of the hypocrite. But what was it that kept you coming back? What did they do well in the show? What was really good?
Actually, you know what? I think compared to, say, like Book of Boba Fett, what I did like about this show and loved it was all of the kind of visuals and audio and everything else that went along with this. I think they upped the production on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Book of Boba Fett was kind of like, well, it's another sandy location. Oh, great, another one. Whereas here, there was so much variety in the locations. You got the I don't know how you say that droid's name. Huyang or Hawaiian, what is his name?
Yeah, Hawaiian. Yeah,
Wang Chung.
He added a huge comedy factor to the whole thing, which I thought he was a great character.
Mm-hmm.
You do have great characters in there, like Balin and Shin and that. Some of that acting was great, some of the acting was poor. But for me, that variety that kept going through the whole series, for me, kept me coming back. Yeah. And of course, we all wanted to know what was going to go on at the end. So, I think they did a pretty good job of that, just keeping the attention going. And that production was definitely upped.
Yeah,
certainly better than Book of Boba Fett was just terrible.
Right.
Am I the only one on screen right now that enjoyed it?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, Kat, okay. You are. Yeah.
At least I know where I stand.
Face dances with wolves.
Yeah. They didn't ruin Ahsoka, they didn't ruin that character, right? Whereas Boba Fett, they kind of ruined him a little bit for me.
Yeah. That's not the character I was playing with in 1979 or what?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Dave's getting hammered while he's talking to us. That's awesome. He's probably gonna get drunk to deal with me. I get it, Dave. I feel you. Yeah.
Hey, it's been a long day. As you know what, all day I've been on calls, and it's just like I've had enough. So I need to get beer and go and join the game.
Right. I need to get a beer and go deal with that clown on Paul's Collectibles. I got you, dog. I feel you. Yeah.
What you don't know is he's had 5 gin and tonics before that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That was, see, now it all makes sense. That's why you couldn't get Pete out of your toy room, Dave, because he was passed out on the floor, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Got some more gin, Dave? Get out of there.
I love English gin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let me just hug it for 5 more minutes.
Right.
I know.
Dave, you mentioned a lot of good stuff there, and a lot of the stuff that was, they didn't do very well, i.e. the story mostly. They didn't even need to be there. But was that the main thing, or were there a couple of other things that you wanted to mention that kind of really stuck out to you that you're like, oh, goodness gracious?
you want me to carry on the negative side?
Hey, those are the questions, brother. That's where we're at, okay?
No, I think it's just the Disney way, right? I mean, there's certain parts of the series where you just go, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? But obviously they just do it for the plot, right? I mean, for example, when right at the beginning, when they were about to leave in that, whatever that spaceship thing was, the circle thing.
Yeah, the hyperspace ring.
Yeah, the space ring. I don't know if does that have a name. I'm not sure. When
they call it the Eye of Sion.
The Eye of Sion, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, when they're about to leave there, and they had the map, right? The map ball thing.
Treasure ball.
And, yeah. And Ahsoka turns up, and basically, Balin's there in the way, and the objective for Ahsoka is just get that map ball thing off that tower, right? Stop the transmission. But no, we have to have a standoff. We have to have a staring competition, like it's a Western film of some sort. So about
very much
5
so.
minutes.
Yeah.
Then we have a fight, and and then obviously she gets thrown off the side. Well, I mean, she could have easily have got that ball off the thing, right? And it's just things like that you just go, why? Yeah, why not? Why not? So, but obviously, it's for the plot, right? Obviously, so it's just things like that where I watch it and I go, oh no, not again. You should have a camera on me while I'm watching Ahsoka.
I'd watch that live stream, Dave. I would watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should do a live stream and me just watching the next Disney series, and that could be entertaining.
Be careful what you wish for, Dave. I might just set that up and drag you on. The three of us just sit here like this. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But no, there's lots of good stuff in there. I love that the whale sequence. I thought that was a pretty cool sequence. Visually it was amazing. And then when they arrived at the planet as well, the ring of whale bones, whatever it was around the planet.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. All that stuff. I thought they were really nice touches. Actually, I like that. Yeah.
Nice. So, if you had to give this, you've still got plenty of time too, Dave. You got 6 minutes left, so please, I'm enjoying this. If you had to give this entire series a grade 1 to 10, what would you give it, and a couple of reasons why, sir?
I'd give it a 7. If 7, if you're strictly fans, 7 is what I give it. Because it's a decent watch, right? It's enjoyable, it's entertaining. You can't give it a low score because there's a lot of substance in there. Probably a lot of it just goes over my head because I haven't seen Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff. And there's a lot of Anakin's in there, and all. There's a lot of good Star Wars references. So you can't rubbish it. But I can't give it more than 7 just because. If you look at it too critically, it just kind of falls apart a little bit. And I wanted them to make more of the key characters. Ahsoka, for example, I would have liked to have seen more. As someone who hasn't seen those cartoons and doesn't really know the character well, I wanted to see more of her. I'm coming at this fresh, and maybe this series has been targeted at those who have got that knowledge of of her from the cartoons and that. But I do wonder how many people have watched those and just gone straight into this. But I would have liked to seen more of that of Ahsoka, the character.
Do you think he'll loop back and watch Rebels?
I don't know. Isn't it like about 15 seasons or something, and then another 15
No, four seasons. It's
oh, okay. Yeah, that's still maybe too much for me. That's still. But this is the thing about Disney Star Wars, right? And just to sort of step back a little bit on this, you know, a lot of these series that Disney push out, they don't want to close it off, right? They want to keep it running, purely, I think, to keep the subscriptions going, right? Because
sure,
Disney is mostly a subscription service now, so I do think they're in a kind of between a rock and a hard place, which is, you know, they've got to keep feeding content, otherwise we're going to stop subscribing. So that's why I think a lot of these stories kind of wander and meander a little bit, because actually they've got to keep churning out the content. So yeah, I'd like to see a series 2 of this. I want to see what happens with Thrawn. Again, I actually liked him. A lot of people are, you know, dismissing his physical nature, but I actually quite liked him. But again, I don't have that background in the cartoon.
That's
I thought
that's really
from the 90s.
I don't remember him looking exactly like that. But yeah, I mean, what did he set up a McDonald's store on this planet?
Please pull through for your order.
Is that did the turtles? Is that what the turtles did? They went through the drive-through in their little vehicles.
Those containers are actually full of Big Macs.
Oh, I thought those were Happy Meal toys.
Highly collectible.
Nice.
Oh dear. Can I just show you something
Please.
from the collection, which has a connection with this Ahsoka?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I show you this, I don't know if you can see this. Does that
Hold
remind you of anything from the show?
I think I can make you big here. Let me do this real quick. Is it this one? There we go.
Does that remind you of anything from the show? If I put it round that way, maybe. Do you remember back in, I don't know, what was it, episode 2 or whatever, when Sabine was trying to extract information from the
the little module thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slick.
Now
is that, Dave?
When I watched the episode, I thought that looks familiar. And I had a look online, and other people also mentioned this, and they believe that they used one of these, which is a Galaxy Invader 1000, a Space Invaders ripoff from back in the 80s.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Now this is actually my very first video game that I ever played.
Really?
So I got
Nice.
So I remember I got this when I can't remember what age, young, and I got this back in the collection fairly early on. And so when I saw that episode, I thought, that looks familiar. So I had a look, and other people are saying it is that. And this is it. This is it.
Oh!
So if you hold it that way, now it's got a square button, not a round button. But, yeah. But this apparently is what they use as a kind of, I guess, a basis for
Why not?
that device.
Look at that.
That's
See,
awesome.
Pete, this is why you get Dave on, because you're always going
Right?
to get a special treat like that.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So there you go.
Love
There's a connection to Ahsoka that I thought I would never have.
Nice.
Bravo, Dave.
All right. Well, Dave, it's been a pleasure having you. We're winding down here. We got just about a minute left. Before I rudely kick you out of the chat, is there any final thoughts you wanted to leave us with, my friend?
I mean, I just want to say, guys, I think you've done a brilliant job. You really have done a brilliant job over the 8
thanks.
episodes.
Thanks, man.
And all the guys in the chat as well, guys and girls in the chat.
Yeah,
It's
the
been-
chat's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome to, like I say, I'm not a deep expert on this part of Star Wars, or any part of Star Wars, to be honest. But you know, watching this after watching the episode and seeing all the chat and the comments, it just filled it in for me, right? There was some like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I get to hear some buzzwords like, is it the Mortis stuff and what have you? And now I can go and research that if I want to or watch the episodes.
I'll send you those episodes.
Or
Yeah, exactly.
you can just hook up with me for an hour and I'll explain it all to you.
Dave, stay in the
Give you
green
short
room.
version, so you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, there you go. And you guys, I'll go offline and leave you to it, and you can deal. And me and
There you
Pete'll
go.
leave. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think you've been an awesome team over the
Next week on Cat's Puzzle Stream.
yeah, exactly.
And
Well-
and thank you for inviting me on, Paul, and having me as a guest. And as I say, it's been great to impart my deep experience of Star Wars on all of you.
Nice. Well, thank
So
you.
good to have you,
for
dude.
coming on. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I like 4 people on the internet, and you're one of them. So that's awesome. Yeah. All right, man. Well, with that,
and I look forward to the rest of the guests in the show.
absolutely,
Thanks, guys.
Dave. Take
Bye,
care. Thanks
everyone.
for being
Give
on. man.
Camilla our love
Thank
too.
you.
I will do. Cheers.
All right. Bye. Let me see if I can do this, Dave. There we go. Bye.
Bye, Dave.
Pete, against my better judgment, you brought someone as well. You're up, my friend. Do you want to introduce our second English guest, my friend?
Wait, I don't have my timeline. Which one? They're both.
Well, your
Small
other
goes with barbecue.
yeah, it's the one that doesn't live in UK.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
be the one, the only shabby geek.
No, it's Salacious Rum.
Salacious Rum.
See, Kat, this is what happens. I send him a schedule. I let him know what's happening, and Pete still
I
just
said it
kicks the
goes
leg
well
out.
with barbecue.
I heard you, and I said it's the one
Oh.
that doesn't live in the UK as later. So sorry, Pete. Pete, you're up, my friend. Have fun.
Salacious, how are you, my friend?
Oh yeah, great. Thanks for the intro. Yeah, that really. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Oh.
I'm just here in the world.
Just
I've only made this huge effort to go to the world between worlds to connect here.
That's right, you are in the world between worlds.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Bob's just. I sent Bob off looking for the portal to Helena Christensen's changing room. Bob, have you found the portal yet, Bob?
He's
Yeah,
peeking through the portal.
Yeah, I brought. I hope you don't mind, Pete, but I've brought little super pervy John with me. He wanted to.
Nice.
He's a,
I think it's appropriate,
yeah.
especially in
Hello.
that world between worlds.
Yeah.
Salacious, it's always good to see you.
Oh, hello. How you doing?
No, hello. Yeah, hello to you too.
Hi, Lady Cat. How you doing, darling?
Hi, Rome.
Oh, one of my special lady friends.
Oh boy.
And the
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the second best puzzle streamer on YouTube.
Wow.
Listen, on here, I'm number one.
Oh.
I knew we were gonna
Can
have
you
shots
kick this
fired.
guest off for being offensive? Can you just next?
Bob's here because he likes to talk about Star Wars. So Bob's here as well. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for
Hey,
having
Bob.
us. Thanks
Yeah.
for having us.
The one, the only, incomparable Bob and Salacious, who I got to hug at Star Wars Celebration this year, which is awesome.
Nice.
He gives good hug. There's old Scuba.
Right back at you.
You wrap me up.
And we were on the lash.
I couldn't breathe for a bit, but particularly on the lash.
Yep,
Yeah,
we were throwing
yeah.
back the pints.
Oh my
By
God.
the way, this is the stream where I finally get demonetized. Not all the other stuff I said before. This will be the
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
Yep.
So Salacious and Bob, what were your overall thoughts on this series? You like it? Love
Well,
it? Hate it?
Well, I've got to say, just to give you some context, that we are proper old school Star Wars EU fans. So there's the expectation straight away. I mean, we
Mhm.
love Heir to Empire, Dark Empire, all the old stuff,
Nice.
and and we're big Filoni fans. I love Rebels. I really love Rebels. Even some of the crazy episodes with droids singing, floating in space, and all the weirdness.
Oh yeah.
So expectation was high. I've got to say, major letdown last episode. Sorry, major letdown. Great ideas were fantastic, off the chain execution. Yeah. Oh my God, where to start? Thrawn. Where was his masterstroke that he managed to get some he managed to get the dead zombies on his ship in time. Is that his grand master stroke? Come on, come on. They could have. The writing was lacking there. His master stroke should have came out of left field. It should have been, it should have been something that we weren't expecting. That he suddenly, he'd been planning all this time, and then we were, there he is. He's done it. He's nailed it. We shouldn't have seen it coming. So that was just poor writing, I'm afraid. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Now we're gonna get political here, I think. I'm sorry, but the force does surround and bind all of us together. It does. It's in all of us. But not everyone can use it. You've got to be special to use it. You've got to be special. Not everyone can, and also, where as you suddenly develop loads of midichlorians. What the hell?
Yeah. As they're riding the wolf beasts,
Oh my God!
I believe.
No, there was never a setup in Rebels. I'm sorry. This is some postmodernist Marxist nonsense that the bloody Kennedys brought in. This is feminism 101. Can't stand it. It's not. No, Sabine does not have the bloody force. Ezra has the force, and it just drove me absolutely mad. Love the Night Sisters though. The Night Sisters are hot.
Oh yeah, they're so creepy.
It's so hot and sexy noise. Love the Night Sisters, man, and the link to Jedi Fallen Order is super cool. What a shame Morgan died off. Bruce Lee's daughter, man, she was awesome. They did not make the most of her. The fight scenes were horrendous.
Yeah,
horrendous. Who was the British martial arts guy they used for Revenge of the Sith? And they need to bring that guy back, man.
Because they were
Bob Anderson.
I don't know what his name was, but there's all this footage of him training Ewan, and he was incredible. And he
took him to task.
Man. So ideas were brilliant, but I'm sorry, the execution, real shame, because the director, what's his name, I can't pronounce his name. He's delivered some decent direction in the past, but this episode was bad. Sorry.
Yep, I have to agree. It was. We were headed in the right direction, and you're like, okay, we're gonna end this. Maybe we won't get a season 2, but at least we're gonna get some of this. And so, okay, we're not. All right, because like you said, it was a foregone conclusion that Thrawn's gonna get the heck out and head to the other galaxy. That's gonna happen, and we knew he had to load all that freight. Like, okay, fine, like get the loaders out.
And that's cool, and it's awesome. We're getting Dathomir. That's amazing. We're clearly going to get the resurrection of a load of Night Sisters.
Oh yeah, it's going to be on.
That's straight out of Rebels, which is so cool. I don't mind the zombie troopers. The in the EU they were the Death Troopers. That's in canon as far as I'm concerned. Didn't execute it very well. Just didn't. They didn't. Yeah. They didn't feel threatening to me. They should have been. They should have been like, you should have been. Your skin should have been crawling at the sight of them, But instead, they were a bit weak, I thought.
Yep, I wanted them to be more cunning, even though they were zombified. Mm-hmm. Not like, well, shut the door, shut the blast door. Right. And they're all like, hey, let us in. Flowers.
I love the World Between Worlds, and I love the motorcycle. Perhaps we'll talk about that a bit later. But amazing to bring that in. Some real deep storytelling to be told there. But they've got to execute it better in the future. They really have.
Would you say that's one of your your favorite part of this series? Getting to see World Between Worlds, more like quote live action.
Yeah, I thought there was some good potential characters. Balin was awesome. He was kind of rocking the kind of Yorath Cabal kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. The Grey Jedi, the man in the middle. But the Mortis thing was. That's a super cool potential storyline there with Ahsoka potentially. Ahsoka's immortal. Ahsoka the White. She's every time. If you follow Rebels, she died in Rebels. the sister in the Mortis arc gave her life,
Yep.
and her spirit entered into Ahsoka. And so every time she dies now, she enters the world between worlds. I don't know if you spot that, but Balin killed her and she entered the world between worlds. Darth Vader killed her in Rebels. She entered the world between worlds. So she's basically the spirit of the sister. And I think Anakin is the brother, and Balin clearly wants to be the father. So there's some.
That's a great. Oh, I love this.
Wow.
Some great points, Delicious.
There's some crazy deep storytelling there that they can explore. But yeah, they've got to do it a bit better. I was wincing a little bit at the poor execution, which is a real shame.
Agreed. So, what would you, on a score of 1 to 10, where would you put the series in your Star Wars TV?
Well, I'm typically I like a good moan, but I am an optimist generally. Like, I do like to, always think that there's opportunities there. So it's probably about a 7, which is a shame because we want Star Wars should be a 9, shouldn't it? Really, or a 10?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it needs to be up there. So there's
like blowing your pants off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
no pants, Scuba, no pants. yeah, exactly right. It needs to be a 9, and maybe that's hard in television. Huge budgets, huge sets. Huge amount of visual effects, tight timelines. TV is pretty hard, I think. Film must be hard, but TV must be even harder. So, but this is Star Wars. This is Disney. I really wish the bloody Kennedys I wish this story group would stay the hell out of Star Wars and just let's get the old authors of the old EU back in, and let's get George back in, and let's get the story back on. Let's use George as a consultant and get the old authors back in, and then let them tell the tale, because there's a great 30-year gap between Return of, there's loads of space to plow. So yeah, 7. That's the question. Yep.
Awesome. 7. So what was probably your moment where it really sucked you in, or were you I mean, I know you love Star Wars, but were you kind of on the outside a little bit and waiting for some particular moment to just, all right, you're in, this is Rebels season 5. Let's do this.
Well, Scuba, can I firstly thank you for introducing me as Shabby Geek, and secondly, thank you for not sticking to the questions that you created.
Just say no comment.
What was that rambling question?
Was it?
Yeah, we were sucked in. We like Star Wars. We were properly sucked in. You couldn't suck us in anymore.
Now we know why Pete doesn't have his own channel. Yeah, exactly.
I knew this was going to be be good.
Oh yeah,
we were sucked in. Oh, by the way, loving. If you're a PlayStation fan or whatever, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, linking in the Zepho, that was super cool. That the planet they were on with the entry point to the world between worlds, and then the old Night Sister planet that had Zepho, old Zepho Sith markings all over it, straight out of the video game.
The hieroglyphs were over those doorways.
That was super cool. So and Merrin is so loving the Night Sister vibe. So Merrin is the Night Sister in Jedi Fallen Order. She's very hot. Very hot. So loving that they're bringing the Night Sisters in. So they're using the Force differently. They're using magique with the K. Yeah, and the green Force vibes. We saw loads of that in Rebels. Super cool. It's the Talzin sword.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you about. What do you think about that? That was oh, that's cool.
I'd happily be whipped by any Night Sister. Like, they can spank me on the bum with the Talzin sword. Bum spanky time. Yes, love the Talzins, but they didn't really do much with it, and the fight was a bit of a, I don't know, it wasn't great.
Yeah, it was
could have been better. Could have been better.
poorly choreographed.
Yeah,
And we reversed it 2 times before we shot it. I thought overall the use of like that dome that we know that they use to make you immersed in these worlds, I thought this looked better. Do you agree with that? Do you think it played better in this series?
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because it got pretty bad, didn't it, in Book of Boba Fett, I think.
Yeah, it was like, hey, turn off the flat screen TV behind them.
Yeah, but I didn't actually notice it at all this time around. So yeah, I didn't even think about that, to be honest. So but yeah, no. So it felt, Star Wars is supposed to be expansive, isn't it? It's supposed to open, so it did feel quite expansive, with the space whales, the Purgles were cool.
Yeah, that was so great.
And the hyperspace channels, the hyperspace lanes straight out of EU, that was cool. It was really cool going to another. I actually thought they were going to do more with the other galaxy. I thought they were going to do more. I thought they were going to bring in the Chiss, maybe, or the. I thought they might actually stay out there a bit longer and do something crazy out there. But I suspect we're going to see. I suspect because this whole skeleton. What's the next show called? The Skeleton Crew. I believe that they're a crew that get lost somehow in the and so if that links up, then perhaps they meet Ahsoka and Sabine and find a way back. I don't know.
Their way back.
Maybe we'll see.
How did you feel? How it like the pre-end where Balin's on the hand of the father looking at the mountain range with the little swing.
That was good. That was proper that was proper, jiggly bit rubby time. That was yeah, because again, I think it's the Mortis arc is pretty deep. It's pretty out there. It's pretty crazy, but it is. Sorry to get a little bit religious, a little bit spiritual, but it is the free spirit, the
Trinity.
Yeah, it's the Trinity. It's the classic Trinity. So, I thought that was cool. I thought Balin seeking it down and knowing about it was cool. And he was on that hand, but he was looking over. He was looking over at the Mortis amphitheater that was in that light was the amphitheater that they were fighting the what was it, the son turned into the daughter turned into a griffin and the son turned into like an eagle or something, and that was that was that theater they were fighting in. So that's going to be cool if they realize that somehow.
I hope they do. I really hope that somehow we get Balin and a finish to his character, because just to write him off and assuming we get a season 2 and it's like, and we're just not going to talk about him. Be like, oh my gosh, this was such a outstanding character of this show. I feel like he deserves his own show. God love him.
Yeah.
Oh, absolute badass. Yeah, rest in peace. What a cool performance as well, So yeah, they've got to bring him back. So try it. Sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I am so glad that you were able to make it. You and Bob.
Yeah. Well, Bob's just around, isn't he? I mean, he didn't.
I'm looking forward to hanging. We're gonna hang out again. Spring NEC. So
yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get on the lash, Scoop. We're gonna get on the lash again.
We're gonna get on the lash again. It's gonna be great.
I can really handle my beer. I can.
He can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry about what happened. I saw you slept it off, but
yeah. I mean, I have to say something did happen between Mrs. Well.
Yeah,
oh boy,
Leslie was
kicked from studio.
Oh, yeah.
Leslie was not in her room for a while. It was weird.
I did get a
Can't quite
visit.
explain it.
Yeah, I did get a bit of a visit. I'm sorry, Scoop, but I have to say, I mean, I had a bit of a limp for about a week.
She's a monkey lover.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, God. Bob and Salacious, it's always a pleasure, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing. Sharing's caring, Scoop.
Yeah.
Sharon's Karen. That's right.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, we will keep you in mind in the future. Bob and Salacious, thank you as always, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, that apparently that shabby geek,
Yeah.
he's also available.
Yeah. Don't ever let him live it down, man. Don't ever let him live it down. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Scoop.
All right.
My big moment.
We'll see you around, Rum. Take care, guys.
We're gonna go and
Bye,
find
thank
Helena
you.
Christensen's portal in the world between worlds. Come on, Super Curvy John.
Jump on in.
He's waiting
Take
for
care,
us.
man. Later.
Have fun
See
with
ya.
that.
Do I have to leave or you?
No, I got you.
Salacious.
Perfect
I got
timing.
you. Now, Kat, you know, against my better judgment, once again, I'm just kidding. You're up. Do you know who your guest is, though, Kat?
I did. You know what? I thought last episode we need the #1 Ahsoka fan ever to grace our community, and I just wanted to hear what he had to say. I mean, #1 fan, please
Mhm.
welcome Rick. West Coast.
Wow. And the
What's up?
fight is on. Go, Kat.
Thanks for the invite to the best Ahsoka after show on the internet.
Oh, that's so
No.
sweet because you have your own.
Yeah, you have your own show.
Yeah, I got lots to learn though. I'm just
No.
Whatever.
Well, like I said, we had to have, you know, Ahsoka's #1 fan on. So I can't wait to hear everything that's going on. So for the finale, what did you think of, sir?
the finale is what I disliked the most about
Yeah.
all 8 episodes, the trailers, the cast, the toys, the merchandise, the marketing, whatever. That was my least favorite thing of the whole thing. Like if they stopped it at say episode 7,
Mhm.
I probably would have liked the show more. It's just what they didn't do is nothing in that 8th episode. So I don't know. Like I think a lot of people agree with me in a very similar way. Like, you know, they liked the show. The show was a very good, entertaining ride, with lots of cool twists and turns and storylines being created that were like, oh, what's going to happen here? And absolutely zero of them were resolved. I think the only thing resolved was Ezra made it back to like Star Wars land. That's it. There's no one died. No one got a hand cut off. No one realized that they were someone's sister or brother or father or, you know what I mean? Like there's just no other.
Yeah.
Yeah, big dun dun
Supposed to be
dun.
about a certain character, Ahsoka, and
Yeah.
I guess what's big about her is she's connected to the main character in Star Wars, which is Darth Vader and Anakin. So
Right.
now, if one of your questions, Kat, was what did you like about this series? I thought Hayden was fantastic. I thought
Yes.
because I'm a fan of him as a fellow Canuck, I just appreciated seeing him. Except the first time we saw him in the World Between Worlds, I just thought that was made by like the Alibaba of Star Wars, and it just it was very
Yeah, it
poor
was.
graphics or animation or whatever it was.
Did it make you question though whether that was really him or if it was somebody else masking as him?
I didn't think it was Hayden Christensen in that first episode, and if you go back and look at the credits, I believe Hayden Christensen is not in the credits for that, you know, dream scene. But you know, I don't know. Like I'm assuming it's him. He's alive and he did those other scenes, so it's almost like they used a different, you know, CGI company, like not DreamWorks and not Lucasfilm, but someone else. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it didn't fit with the rest of the show. But it worked. It was a good introduction. All the 30-year-old people went crazy the next day on the internet because, well, and I get it. There's lots of fans of that character, right? And even of that actor. Like the younger generation loves the actor. They love the handsome men, and why not? We all love the Shin character from what I've seen on everyone talking about it in the chat. and it's not just because she's actually a really attractive woman. I acted the best out of any actor in any Star Wars in the Disney Plus era, in my opinion, and that's beating out some of those characters in Andor, which were also great eye actors, and everyone in that show deserves awards or nominations for their acting abilities because of that show. And now on this show, I don't see any awards or nominations. Maybe the music. The music was cool in the original. The two standout actors, Balin and Shin. Yeah, I lost my crap, man, when they were in the final scene, the last 25 seconds of this series finale, season finale, whatever it's going to be, and they said nothing. They had no dialogue. And I was just, that disappointed me. I don't care about any of those other characters at this point. I know what's going to happen to them. You know, they're not in the sequels, so they're presumably all deceased. You know, except for maybe Hera and Chopper and whatnot. But I don't know. Like the two characters I really got in tight with, Balin and Shin, not because I'm a bad boy and I like all the bad enemies and villains.
Nothing wrong with that.
They were great. They were great, talented actors, and they created these characters. These are brand new characters to us, and we still know nothing about them. Like early on, I'm like, is she his daughter? Like, she's got the Padawan braid, but she's never been like a Jedi as we know them in the academies and training circles. So, you know, he either found her or born her or, you know, or whatever, rescued her from something. It's sad that we're not going to ever see the actor, you know, do that character some more justice, which is highly, highly deserved. I think it'll now be like probably a comic or a 3-minute cartoon we get on Disney Plus. That'd
be cool.
If they do recast him and that character and the story goes on, I don't know. We'll see. In my opinion, I don't think his story goes on anymore. I think that's it. They're just leaving it open-ended like that. And maybe 7 years down the road when President Favreau or Filoni at Lucasfilm want to continue that story, you know, maybe they will. But I think they're only concentrated on the Rebels cast and crew and Thrawn. And so somehow we got to, you know, Ahsoka and Sabine got to get back to the regular galaxy, or do they not? Do we not ever hear from those two characters ever again? Like, I'm just putting it out there. Like, I think those are options. I think it's a 40% chance we don't ever get a story about Balin again, and Shin, in that matter, because she's now like a tribes person with you know, with a sword.
Yeah,
But overall, I was entertained. I'm just super, super disappointed.
This is the perfect. You know what? This is the perfect format for Rick because he doesn't have to pretend like he cares what any of his guests say. It's all about him right now.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
I'm rarely uninterrupted. Too. I'm very rare.
For it. It's okay. It's a safe space.
Yes. Sorry,
okay?
Kat. Go.
Sorry. No, you're fine. You're fine. So, was there like a wow moment for you where you just like? Because I know, obviously, probably a low moment was Ahsoka didn't die. But was there like a wow moment of like, holy crap? Because I know you talked a lot about the likes and some of the dislikes. But was there like either a really high like holy crap that's amazing or holy crap that's annoying, I hate this ruined it for me?
I thought the second showing of Anakin in her dream while she was dead or drowning or becoming fish food or whatever world between. We don't even know
down there
the world between
snorkeling.
It just looked pretty with white walkways. That blew me away. I thought that was top of the line stuff that Lucasfilm can do. With their DreamWorks or whoever's doing all that work. And it was Hayden. Like he's a handsome young man. They don't have to make him look 19 years old. He's a pretty good looking guy. Makeup and blue light or whatever they do. I thought that was the best part of the series as far as the CGI and the graphics were. He was all in the stagecraft. That part kind of stunk, But, for the rest of the show, I didn't notice all the stagecraft, so I don't have that I can't use that as a feature I don't like about the show. they obviously have a little bit better budget than some of the other shows, but
Sure.
I don't know.
Boba Fett.
I think Andor just raised the bar so high when it comes
Right.
to Star
Yeah.
Wars
Yeah.
on TV. They changed
Yeah.
the time it comes out. Like they pulled all the
Yep.
strings, and I think in the end, what we're seeing is it actually was like the least watched and least favorited and hours watched show from
Oh,
the Star
wow.
Wars. I've seen some different reports.
Yeah,
None
I've
of
seen
them
those
say it
too.
was the best one,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
But that
I've
was my
seen
favorite
some
part, was
reports and
seeing
articles of
Hayden.
it's the worst thing
Uh-huh.
since Star Wars, and I'm like, I don't buy that. So it's kind of hard to know who's given real facts or not sometimes with that.
the trailers made me want to learn more about Balin and Shin, of course, right?
Yeah.
Because we never got no tease of Anakin in the trailer, or no tease of C-3PO walking in and making an episode, and so those were fun bonuses, and I appreciate those, whether we call them member berries or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I live for. Like, if they don't,
Yeah.
I'm all for new Star Wars and new universes and new characters, but if they don't follow some of the rules that George created, and I think you guys were talking earlier about it, Filoni broke some of those rules in this series by handing out the Force like candy. Like, here, you got the Force, you got the Force, you got the Force.
Oprah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Mhm.
We all just watched Mando and Boba Fett and Andor, then Kenobi, but those shows were very low in the laser swords. They were more stories and other characters and learning about those characters. Like, we know more about, of course, Boba Fett, but what's his sidekick, Fennec Shand, just because she had so much more dialogue and screen time than another great character in Balin or Shin, like, who could eventually be our favorite characters of all time. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think
That's a great
Balin,
point.
it saddens me a lot that we can't see Balin again. Like, it's almost like, I grew up with Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and whatnot. Like a lot of you guys are fans of them. Can you imagine if between Empire and Jedi in like '85, Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford or Carrie Fisher passed away then, and they literally would have had to consider recasting because they're already doing production. It's just weird. Like, I know this happens in life. People do move on, and people, perish suddenly, like Ray Stevenson did. But I don't know, man. It's hard to think. It's hard to think that this show, had this happen to them, and it's I don't know. It's a little bit of a blemish for the series, but I don't hold that against Filoni. It's all he did was right, and I felt it was a new series of Rebels, but they still have a couple more episodes to give us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they forgot
Good
the
point.
finale.
Yeah.
Are you mad about being maybe a certain main character in Rebels not be showing up at all in this series?
This guy,
Zeb?
a resemblance to Hammerhead, made an appearance in the courtroom, so that made my day. And but yeah, as
Zeb who?
someone who
Yeah,
I did
who?
watch all
Huh?
the Rebels and all the Clone Wars and stuff. I watched all the Star Wars, all of it, and
Yeah.
I'm a Star Wars freak, so I dig it all. It's sad that Zeb is literally the only character of that crew that didn't make it to this show, and I don't.
Yeah, like
get
he
it
couldn't
because
have been on that cruiser
I
or
guarantee
even
you
in
that
the.
costume was less than 30 yards away. I don't know. I really don't get it. Like, just
But
a
it makes
missed
sense having him
opportunity.
on
Missed
Mando.
opportunity. Like, Kat, what if they showed Zeb in 4 or 5 episodes, but there was no Anakin? That wouldn't have probably been as good, right?
Well, no, but Anakin is essential to the Ahsoka story, though. Zeb is not.
Yeah, I heard you
So,
say that
I mean,
earlier,
I
and I
get
want to
it.
comment on
Yeah.
that because I think Ahsoka is not relevant to Anakin's story or any other character's story now after seeing even Sabine being her apprentice. She did. I don't know. So I like what you said there.
But that's the,
She is very much a part of, or he is very much a part of what Ahsoka is, because we know her from wee Ahsoka to growing up Ahsoka, and Anakin was part of that life 90% of the time. But
absolutely,
I don't see her as being an influence or a part of Anakin's life because
no,
old
she would have been
school.
in Obi-Wan's show then.
Sure.
I think, you know what I mean? Like, he could have done something with that, but absolutely, I don't think I think she's not as relevant to his, and with that. But so overall, with everything, the ups and the downs, what would you rate the show for overall?
Going into the finale, I was an 8. I was for sure an 8.
Wow.
Several of the episodes were
That's
8.
high for you. That's like a 10 for you.
But after that finale,
Right.
I'm down to a 6.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
no answers were answered to me. Like, it was not concluded. And if the answer is going to be yes, there will be an Ahsoka season 2, it's not for 5 years, people. We're not.
Yeah.
You know, there's 3 other movies that got planned before this, and they're all on strike. So we're not getting those for 4 years. So I just don't see Rosario Dawson with a walker and gray hair doing this role in her 60s. I really don't. That young girl who played her will be in her 20s when they film season 2. So that could happen.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Awesome. That's great. I'm so glad I got the #1 Ahsoka fan on this final episode, you
Number
guys.
one.
Thank you so much, Rick, for joining us, hanging out, and giving all the love to the Ahsoka.
And thank you guys. Thank you, Paul, Scuba Pete, and Kat for joining Paul this year. This one of the funnest streams going on to YouTube.
Oh,
and
thanks, man.
Thank
I'm
you.
always happy to be in the chats and participate. And thank you for the invite, Kat. I love
You're
to
welcome.
spread my Ahsoka love to all you Ahsoka lovers.
We couldn't have done this last show without you.
That's awesome. You guys are all very well appreciated. Thank you.
As you can see,
Thank
Kat
you.
and Pete, my checks are not bouncing. So everybody's come on, cash their check, and they're saying nice things
went
about.
back.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
he got paid?
Yeah. Whoa, hey, you guys are interns, okay?
Okay.
Mhm. Well, Rick, I've appreciated having you in the chat. You and Matt, I give you guys a hard time all the time, but I really appreciate it because it's like the 1-2 punch. Every time I say something, both of you come in with how stupid I am, and I appreciate that. So.
No, same here. I love when Matt participates in the same content because Matt knows a lot of the Star Wars nerddom that I don't care about. Like I learned it once, and
and then
like I read all the books too, but I don't remember all the books. I remember the ones I liked. But
Right.
no, Matt's awesome in all these streams. He's got a lot of that knowledge of the stuff the 30-year-olds are like, and then he's older like us. He's like 39.
Yeah, 39. That's cute.
39 for life.
Right, yeah. Rick, before I kick you out of here, I have one question. In the next series that shows up, are you going to continue to do your after shows as well?
I would like to. Like most fun I had about this Ahsoka series was me doing a little after show with some fellows like you. I was a little disappointed that the last half of the season, the last 3 or 4 episodes, the 2 young guys that I wanted on the show to kind of, have different opinions than me because I just knew they would. They're different Star Wars fans from a different age group. They had babies and moved and had, or they didn't like my haircut, whatever it was.
Right.
So me and Super John we're having our own our fun because we both enjoyed it and we both picked the crap out of it. And I think so. The Skeleton Crew is supposed to be next. I hope it comes out this year. I don't want to wait because I'm going to cancel my Disney Plus right now, and because I don't think we're getting another show for like a year. Next year this time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's fun. I'm still learning the YouTube hosting stuff.
Well, I don't comment much, usually because I have you on the TV and I'm walking around doing stuff, but I'm watching and I get a kick out of it because you're a lot like me in as much as I have to force myself to be quiet and let other guests talk because I love me and I love me on TV. So you know what I mean? So I feel you, dog.
Oh, you guys are doing awesome, man. Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scuba,
right back
for teaching me all the methods.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Wow. I got a little tingly there for a second. That was fun. All right, Rick. With that, man, I'm going to kick you out of here, brother.
Thank you.
Cheers, y'all.
All right,
See you, Rick.
take care. All righty. I like it. He's a lot of fun. Now,
It wasn't so bad.
no, he was very well behaved. I was impressed. Now, Pete, just do the same introduction you did last time, and it'll work this time, okay?
the one, the only, Salacious and Bob Rum. Oh no, it's Shabby.
Oh.
Sorry, I had to.
Hold on one sec. Hang on. Paul's check bounced. I'm on now, though. I'm on. All right, I'll do it. We'll see.
Awkward.
Shabby, nice hat. I love it.
I won't accept for every one of these. I can't believe what's this you up to. This is the third, fourth one in it that you've done of these.
Yeah, and we keep dragging you back every time.
Yeah, it's weird as well because I've done a live stream for the past 3 years, and I never make notes. And every time I come on this for about 20 bloody minutes, I've got to keep making notes.
Nice. Yep.
So, how are you? It's good to see everyone.
Oh, still good to have you on, man.
Good, man.
Me too.
So you and I have talked privately or in a smaller group, but what can you lay on us for this final episode? What was going through your mind?
The only first of all, I'd like to say it's complicated. It's right. I've never known.
Yep.
I mean, I've got to admit to you, guys, I've enjoyed this show, but that last episode, what a load of bumcum. I've never seen anything. And that's the thing, right? You go missing for 10 years. No one knows where you are. You'll have question after question after question. What's happened? Where's the soul? Where's this? It's complicated.
It's
all
complicated.
right. I mean, you're like, what are you talking about? It's complicated. I don't know. And he just went, okay. Don't make any sense. There's loads of stuff. It's been all right. The thing about it, it's given me a twitch because every episode your eye roll, and then that last one, honestly, I was like that. Do you know what I mean? My eyes couldn't stop rolling. It was so bad. Where do I start? Let's have a look. Lightsabers. That's what I want to talk about. A lightsaber now is about as deadly as a bloody toothbrush. Do you know what I mean? What is going on with a lightsaber?
You're not wrong.
When we were kids, this thing was the ultimate weapon. You know, it was hard to pick up. It was hard to work out. It took ages to make one, and so now it's like watching a restoration episode for 10 minutes, and you can make your own. I've never done anything like it. It's like it doesn't make any sense. 1 minute, like, what's he called? What's he called? Info Rebels. No, the Info Rebels. Ezra turns on. Oh no! I don't need no lightsaber. He's had 10 years, right? He's been hanging around with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle knockoffs all that time, and hasn't. Well, you'd think if he's getting into a fight after all these years, he'd pick up a lightsaber. I don't need a lightsaber. The very next episode, he's making one, and I'm just like, what's going on? And I just remember Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan picked it up and Anakin kept losing it. Said, "This is your life. This is part of you," and all that. And now it doesn't mean anything. And and it was funny as well because when they were fighting the Walking Dead zombies, which we'll get on to, they did. The three Jedis did exactly the same moves and kills as what Balin's mate. What's she called? Her that's named after part of a leg. Shin. That's right. What is it?
Part of a leg. Part of a leg.
And the thing is, she's stabbing him through, and they've got armor on. And I'm like, how does this work? You know what I mean? It's like living back to Band-Aids. I've never known anything like it in my life. So, yeah, that's. And the other thing that got to me, as you said, we were talking about it before, is I said to you, if Sabine gets the Force in the end of it, and the thing is, I don't listen. I understand because Andy at Hollow Chronicles put me straight as well about everyone having the Force and all that. You know, proper nerd. And he turned out to be
love you, Andy.
And I thought, well, yeah, fair enough. I understand that part. But I thought, she's not picking up the lightsaber is one thing. Throwing Ezra into a Star Destroyer is another. I pick up it doesn't make me Lionel Messi. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't get it at all. So it's baffling.
Pete, you cheated. You don't even need to interview Shabby. He just goes.
No.
Yeah.
What did you think? I mean, as a series in that Star Wars TV realm of Disney Plus, how do you think they did?
The thing for me is we're all diehard Star Wars fans. We have been for years. Everyone on the thing, everyone in the chat. You know, I've known you lot for a long time, and I see your videos, and I see what you talk about, and I see what you're collecting. So it means something to us. I'm tired of going into these shows with low expectations. We all say, "Oh yeah, I won't go in with low expectations." We shouldn't have low expectations for Star Wars. We shouldn't. We should be coming onto shows like this or talking to each other in the community, going, "Whoa," you know. And I think that's the thing. I think it's not. I never compare it to the OT because we're never going to get that again. But I just want good storytelling. I think in this one, I mean, especially that last episode, there was no originality. I'd seen that in everything else: Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Walking Dead, and it's like they built. It's like when Ezra comes out of that shuttle full of stormtrooper outfit when they've all got guns on him. We know who it is. Do you know what I mean? Not one of us will stand there going, "Oh, who could that be?"
Right?
You know what I mean?
And he could have taken the helmet off while he was flying.
It's like me walking into a London pub with a Manchester City football shirt on. You just wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? You'd change before you walked in. And it's just little things like that like when they jumped off the part and they came back on the ship. I was in Back to the Future, and I kept doing that constantly. Yeah. And the zombies, whatever. I mean, that, especially when he had those green eyes, I was like, what the France is going on? I mean, I understand. But I understand it was in the the cartoon and so forth. Well, it's the same as people like Vintage Toy Wash who's never seen it. All of a sudden he's seeing that now. And all he's got to base on that is other things that he'd seen in other TV shows. And I was like, I just thought, is this how far it's gone now, Star Wars, where you just slap the label on and then you just write what you want? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think there's any clear, story. So
even Morgan said, "Let none pass," and I was like, "What? She's Gandalf?"
Yeah.
It was just weird. Even they were dressed like gamers. I mean, it's like I said, and you're a bit of a fitter too, Pete, because I know for a fact what your favourite part was in this, because it was the same as mine. It was Hera's backside. I know for a fact. That was the best part, isn't it?
That is. I mean, her buns know how to act.
I tell you what.
Better than her face.
Yeah.
There's more emotion in her backside.
I had an issue with her too, because when I think, and now I'm thinking about it, I think it's because the only time I've ever seen her before was in Rebels. But this sounds stupid because I've answered my own question, but she looked like someone just dressed for Halloween. It didn't look right at the very start here. And to tell you the truth, I was expecting Ahsoka to be like a bit cockier, a bit funnier, a bit more lively, like she's in the Clone Wars. And understandable, she's older, but she was like that in Rebels as well. And the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, where she met those 2 girls in underground in Coruscant, and they didn't get any of that. So really, I just thought Hera, Sabine, and Ahsoka were all the same character. There was not one outshone the other one, not one. I mean, these are characters that we know, and I think the majority of them come out talking about Bale and Skull, who we've never seen before, who just wiped the floor. I mean, the character and the arc that Ray Livingston played in the Ahsoka was. I'd watch an episode just them two. I'd watch a full season just for them two. So,
absolutely.
Yep. So we've talked about a lot of what went wrong. What do you think they did well?
He's got many. He's so overloaded with so many positives.
That's the thing. It's like, you know what it reminds me? It's like having a fit girlfriend. It's like having a really hot girlfriend, right? You can't get rid of him. And you're trying your only mates think he's a proper pain in the arse, like, oh, Shabby, why are you with her? And you have to defend it constantly. And you're like, oh, well, she's nice. Like, none of your mates see it, but you're that's what being a Star Wars fan's turned into. Every episode, you're like, well, that was all right. And maybe it was all right. You know what I mean? And, so that's what it feels like.
As you say, it's up and down like a bride's nighty.
A bride's nighty.
Honestly, it is. It's up. I don't know. It was nice to see the Rebels characters in live action. It was nice to see them. And I thought the lad that played Ezra was great. I thought nothing wrong with that. I thought they all looked like the way. They should have done them all on. It would have been nice to see Zeb in this all the way through it. That would have been awesome. I couldn't work it out whose show it was. Was it a Rebel show? Was it a Soul show? Was it a Sabine show? It was like I couldn't work out where it was going. And to tell you the truth, it didn't really matter because nothing happened anyway, did it? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You could have put Mickey Mouse in it, and he'd have more of a story than these 3. That's the only issue. But it was nice to see them. The episode going back to the Clone Wars with Anakin was ace, although it wasn't needed. When she fell into the water, you could have easily just got the X-wing and pulled him out, and there'd be no. It was just a filler, really. It was nice to see him, but it wasn't. It didn't change the arc, did it? Because everyone talks about how important Anakin is to Ahsoka, but I think we all forget she left when she was 13, 14, and in the books, she never talks about being a Jedi. And all of a sudden now she's got Padawans. Everyone got to the Force. Do you know what I mean? So that was a lot. It was great to see him. Don't get me wrong. But what makes me laugh is his wardrobe in the afterlife must be massive. Because every scene we see him, he's in a different outfit. And I'm like, only only had the one. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not complaining about that.
That was nice to see him. The flickers when he was walking between Anakin and Vader, that was awesome. That was really cool. The way they did that. But there were some things. And the biggest thing for me, I'm a big book reader, and I love the Thrawn novels. I love the modern ones. I love the old ones. And I just, it's not a case of I wanted him to come across. I wanted him to come across as intimidating, not as a villain, because in the books he's not portrayed as a villain. In Rebels, I thought he's a little bit. Honestly, he was about as intimidating as a wet mop. Let's be perfectly honest. You know what I mean? There was nothing, and I just thought, and I don't really care about the look of it. I know a lot of people saying because he looked a bit, like an old man, and he looked. That didn't bother me in the slightest. What I was looking for was Thrawn, and I didn't get it. I mean, he's meant to be this tactical genius, and he sends 2 TIE fighters to go get him. We missed him. All right, well, we'll wait to something else. Oh, we didn't do that right. Right, well, we'll get him there. Oh, I'm
go back and get him, mate.
Let's just go. Let's just go and leave him.
Let's go.
Genius.
Give him a citation. Let's kick the tires, light the fires. Let's go.
So I've got that part, lightsabers, the Force. I think that was the part that bothered me the most, the Force, that everyone can have it. And I'm like, I understand it surrounds everybody and it binds everybody, but that doesn't mean everyone can use it. And I just thought that was a bit weak, because by the time, if this is all leading to the sequels, by the time we get there, all these Jedis have to go, because it's classed that Rey's the only Jedi left, the last Jedi, so that in a way was a bit, but it's funny how they go on about killing all those Jedis at the Jedi Council. How many did you kill? About 2, because there seems to be loads left in the universe.
Yeah.
Everybody's still here.
They pop up everywhere.
What are you?
Yeah.
I know I'd say those clone troopers must have been awful at killing them all. I don't know. I mean, so I went in with low expectations. I came out with low expectations. It was all right, and it started off okay, but that last episode was so bad. I've got nothing good to say about it. I just thought it was terrible.
So, what would you give the overall series rating wise, 1 to 10?
I'm the same as Rick. Up to the last episode, I would have been 8 at least. I thought, it was all right. You can overlook a few things. The eye rolls you can overlook. 6 out of 10 for me. It just went downhill. It's the same thing. I mean, my problem is I can't compare this to Andor. To me, I thought Andor was a masterpiece. It was an apps. I just loved Andor. There is nothing about it.
Freaking fantastic.
Agreed.
I remember a guy on Hollow Chronicles once, he made a comment in their chat, and he said it's like a novel, and I thought perfect. Because doing Star Wars like that shows me you don't have to have the crash bang wallet. If you have a story and you have character development and you have great actors that are telling you this story, that's all you need. And I'm just not getting it. I'm just not getting it at all, really. And then we've got a skeleton crew coming, and then the Acolyte, and there's nothing for me to go, oh, this is going to be awesome. But I did about Andor when I found out who was writing it, who was directing it, who was in it. It's like a BBC drama.
You're only as good as your last chapter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly, Jason.
Yeah, it really it really left us hanging in such a bad way.
The thing is, though, it was like nothing. It's like the last 5 minutes when he sees Mortis and the thing goes, that's when this should have started.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, right, here we go. Directed by Dave Filoni. What the France? It's over. And I'm like, it's got in there. You know what I mean? So, I know it's like pulling up at a party and going after 5 minutes. You're like, we haven't sat out yet. We haven't even had a drink. Oh, well, forget it. I'd rather go home. It's weird.
Yeah, it was like we wasted time on worrying about the naughty getting crushed by the T6 rather than the father statue with Balin. Like we could have been wiping. Like there was a couple episodes I thought that they did that wipe, that Star Wars wipe well, and this was severely lacking.
I think it must have been hard for him because I think cartoons is one thing, live action is another. And I think the things that for in other words, the things I rolled at in this, if I watched it in animation, I wouldn't have eye rolled. I would have gone, oh yeah, that's fine. Do you see what I mean? But because I've done it that way, that's what the issue is. I think when doing live action. So, and the Mother Talzin sword, right? This is the Mother Talzin figure from 2012, which is right there. Comes with a lightsaber. So where did they get that sword from? Where did that come from? A sword all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Who's next? King Arthur's the Jedi. Get to France. You know, it's a sword enough.
And Matt, I see you yelling in the chat because there's a season 2 in the works. But at least give us a little more flesh to this episode. Like,
it's like
come
going to a
on.
Marvel movie, innit? And when you sat there and you're going, I can't wait till the end credits. Film hasn't even
Right, yeah.
What's
End
next?
credit.
That's what this feels like. And I don't know. I think that's what it is. We know there's an Andor season 2, but that ended perfectly. That had an ending. You know what I mean? And I think the same as all the trilogies, really. You can say Empire Strikes Back had a bit of a clip, but it did have an ending. You know, they got away, they were back in the rebellion. And I think that's what it is. This just left me constantly like, what? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And the thing that really annoyed me was 3PO shit turning up. That annoyed me. Honestly, and I love 3PO, but it's the when 1 month I went, 3PO, like the savior of Star Wars was here. I'm like, what? He sent a droid. It doesn't make any sense. The other thing as well, Throne's as big as they say, and everyone's like that. Why did you send the Rebels? Why didn't Luke Han Leia go? I mean, you've bought the franchise. You've got these characters. Do you know what I mean? They should have gone and done it, but I don't know. No, I'm all right.
Shabby, my wife showed up just in time to get the pinnacle there. She's like, wow, someone got Shabby fired up. Hey, Sarah. So thanks for stopping.
I know it's never going to be the same, and I know Star Wars is diverse. You know, it's for everybody. There's people that love it. There's people that hate it. And all you can do, really, by having an opinion is what you think and what your Star Wars should be. I'm just sorry at being an old school Star Wars fan, and you know the love and the joy and the excitement we had for all this stuff is now like, oh well, my expectations are here, and I'll go in like I don't want to go in. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but I don't want to go in like that. I want to go in like, oh, Scuba Pete, what happened? And what? Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to do.
Yep.
Wow. Pete, you
Awesome
still got
job.
3 minutes, man. Unless you guys are wrapping it up, it's up to you two.
I don't think you could have said it any better. And
No,
I knew you were
that's
going to
it.
be. Yeah.
I've
That
calmed down a
was
lot.
final thoughts.
Do you remember last week? I was so pissed off last week. I was like,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Andy just winded me up even more. And I know he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah, he's like,
no,
poke,
great.
poke,
Yeah.
poke.
Oh,
It's
wow.
things like that. I mean, the Thorn thing I've mentioned, Balin to me was I think like everybody, I think it was a standout. It's a shame, really. You asked one of the lads if you should recast it. I think they should. I've always thought about it. I can always tell the difference between an actor and a character. It's the characters I like. I don't care who plays, as long as they get the mannerisms right, and they only get the lore. You know, the same as that young lad did in the Solo movie. I thought he did a great job. I don't need Harrison Ford to be Han Solo. So I think we're quite lucky in a sense here. Not lucky that the bloke has died, bless him. The fact that it's a relatively new character. Do you see what I mean? So we've only seen this character for one season. If you bring somebody else in to play that character, I think it's the character that, you know, he played him brilliantly, don't get me wrong. But if they bring somebody else in, I'd love to see that character progress and see where his story, because I think there's something there with Balin Skull. You know what I mean? I think that they are building up to something. So it'd be a shame not to carry his arc on.
Agree.
And that was a good idea Rick had about, you know, you could easily capture that in animation.
Yeah.
Have the look of him, have somebody voice him, and let's explore him. Yep.
Yeah. It was a shame because it's so stupid because I dyed my hair, right? Star Wars does, one thing Star Wars does do great, yeah, it does great for grey-haired men. Do you not remember Timothy Oliphant? What was he called in The Mandalorian? Handsome with grey hair. Now they've just done it in this. Cobb Vanth, that's right. Now they've just done it, and I'm like, bloody hell, but I can't do it because every time I leave my hair grey, it goes wide. I look like one of the bloody Golden Girls. I don't look like someone.
Nice.
Dude,
man.
thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
You know,
This was
Thank you,
been
Shelby.
great.
No, it's been great. I love this. I'm so glad you brought it back because it felt weird the last time you weren't on. It was like, what's going on? What's, you know what I mean? How ungrateful is that not to give us what we want? You know, so I'm
I agree.
Right? So selfish.
I know, yeah. It's like he has a life or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Loser over here. Well, as always, Shabby, I appreciate your continued support. I make no bones about it. The reason why I'm still doing all this is because Shabby discovered me on YouTube about 3 years ago and started, dragging me on to live streams, and I got a taste for it. So he's mainly the reason I'm here. So I appreciate you, Shabby.
Thank you, Shabby.
No, it's awesome. You've all three of us, and you, Kat, you've done brilliant with these two. You've been brilliant with them.
Thank you.
So awesome. Yeah. Nice to see your perspective. It's been awesome.
All right, Shabby.
I don't have my tea. Is that it now?
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna check out your live stream about Motu coming up here soon, hopefully. So I'm
yes,
check that out.
Yeah. If you don't mind, there's a couple. I don't think Motu's as big as everything else, and there's a couple lads out there that we all know. So we all thought we'd get. There's 6 countries doing it. We have 6 countries.
Wow.
So
okay.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
All right, man.
That's great.
Well, we'll see you soon, Shabby. It's always a pleasure, man.
Okay. See you, everybody.
Shabby.
See you,
Take
pal.
care. Cat. Shabby, I gotta hold on. I gotta take a breath. Shabby, whew, Shabby.
I breathe, like he took
No,
a breath
yeah,
right. I was like, oh my gosh.
You guys cheated. Oh yeah, between Rick and Shabby, you just wind it up and sit back. Cheated. But Kat, you've got your next guest on is someone who I'm not trying to be rude about this, who I don't know, I've never met or seen before. So I'm really excited to have this gentleman on. So why don't you introduce him and let's get him in here.
Okay, this is my very good friend Albert. He's the host of the Cantina Cast. He's a different part of not in this immediate community, a different part of Star Wars community. So yeah, I'd like to welcome Albert.
Albert, nice to meet you. Hey. Uh-oh, you're muted.
There we go. Hey.
There we go. Yeah, there. Much better. Yeah, beautiful.
Sorry about that. How are y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good.
That's a tough act to follow, and I'm not even going to try, honestly.
Right? Yeah.
And am I the only American on? Is this why this was earlier showing? Was there someone else on earlier that was an American?
No.
Rick was Canadian.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. All right. So here I am representing the stars and bars. So let's have at it. Yeah.
It's all on you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
La Guerra de la Galaxia. I love it. I love the shirt,
thank you
man.
very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
thank
awesome. Sorry, Kat, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go for it, ma'am.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So again, thank you for coming and joining us this last episode, Albert. So overall thoughts on the very last episode of Ahsoka.
Overall episode. Okay, so let me first a couple disclaimers. Number one, I'm a super biased. I'm going to tell you right now, super biased, unapologetically fan of Dave Filoni and Star Wars Rebels. Rebels is my Star Wars. I was born in '73, so I'm an original trilogy fan.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah, exactly.
Old people. Yeah.
Just hit 50 myself, right? But there was something about Rebels that I connected with because for me, it brought in that spirit of Star Wars in a lot of ways. So also, I am like one of the 22 people that watch Star Wars Resistance. So that aside, I really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed this episode, and we'll get into the series here in a little bit. But I just felt like, was it the strongest episode of the series? No, but I don't think anybody could argue that, right? I think we were kind of left hanging there on some of the things. I've heard some of the feedback here that's been going on. Thank you for I was worried, honestly. I don't want to segue too or digress, but I was worried about wearing this cap because I saw all these British people and I thought, holy crap, I'm going to get rolled, like cyberbullied after the show's over for liking Liverpool. But thank you that someone actually.
Oh no, that's Cy.
Yeah. Okay, good.
You're in good company.
Okay, safe company, right? Safe space, right? But yeah, so the fact that we, the way it ended, I think there were some things that were kind of, left hanging and probably could have been stronger from the writing perspective. I get that. I did enjoy that we got Mortis back. We've been speculating about this on our show for, the entire series, honestly. And finally getting some kind of concrete, even though it wasn't a whole lot, it was enough to get us certainly intrigued and thinking about what the possibilities could be there on Peridia, right? So I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed that we ended with Anakin Skywalker. I felt like his presence in this series was, it kind of cemented that character. It was something that Ahsoka could anchor on throughout the entire series. And so what better way to end the series than to kind of show him? But I also felt that was a little bit intriguing too. I think it was a little bit open-ended about, okay, now that Anakin's here and Mortis is here and Morai's here and, Ahsoka's here, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Are we going to retell some of the Mortis stuff? Are these guys going to go into some of those roles, some of those positions? So it left a lot there for us to kind of think and hang on. I'm also, I didn't put this in my disclaimer, but I'm a huge fan of Lost. So I'm so desensitized by the open box stuff. Like you can throw 8 million threads at me and I'll latch on to 4, and then I'll still think about, you know, the other 7 million that are, and you can get to them whenever you want to. I'm totally fine. Like, abuse me. That's okay. I'm totally fine with it, right? So like, I'm so desensitized by these open threads. And what I would say, though, in defense of Dave Filoni, is that he did do some of this. If you really think about what was done in Clone Wars and you really think about what was done in Rebels, there were a lot of threads that were thrown in earlier seasons that the payback or the payoff didn't come out to many seasons later down the road. Purrgil is the one that everybody made fun of the space whales, and he eventually did come back and kind of gave us some closure on that one. So yeah, I think it was probably in character for him to have done this. I think it's within the thematically, this is what Dave Filoni likes to do. So overall, I guess to summarize this episode, I loved it. I thought it was great. Again, not the strongest episode in the bunch, but it certainly left me wanting a lot more.
Awesome. So with being such a fan with Rebels and the Clone Wars and tying, how did you feel that they handled the Ahsoka series altogether?
Oh, I mean, so yeah, I mean, I think Star Wars is at its best when it's weird, and this got real weird. It got freaky weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It did.
And I was like enjoying all of that. So I think overall the series, I mean, again, it was probably the most Star Warsy Star Wars that we've had since live action, since the Disney acquisition. If you put that up against all of them, even like the Mandalorian one, yeah, we had our Luke moment. It's hard to argue against that, but there was just something tonally about it, something spiritually about it that felt like it was an extension of George Lucas, which was an extension of Joseph Campbell, which was an extension of Akira Kurosawa, right? All the elements that we saw in the original trilogy and even in the prequel trilogy were kind of baked into there. Now, did you have to reach for some of them at times, and were they a little bit deeper than we needed? Yeah, probably, right? They weren't so on the surface. But I felt like the highs were super high, and I felt like the lows were probably mediums at best for me personally. I thought they went really big. I thought they went really bold with the storytelling. We haven't had, I mean, the fact that they bring in Mortis alone was about as bold as we've gotten from anything, right? Post the sequel trilogy. Let's just be honest. Maybe some stuff in the Clone Wars, but yeah, I mean, and then they went swinging for the fences when it came to, the world building. All right, we got a whole bunch of stuff now that we can play around in, and we've got an entire sandbox that is completely segregated from the other stuff that's going on. So, right, so that's kind of it's a fun space that we can play around. It still feels like Star Wars. It still has some Star Wars characters. It's cemented now, grounded in this the Mortis aspect of things. So yeah, I mean, it gave us a lot there for it. And then the other things that I felt like the series did really well is I'm a huge fan of Joseph Campbell. We talk about it on the show a lot, and if you really look at Ahsoka's character, I mean, Filoni almost, if you go by every stage of the hero's journey, Ahsoka just continued to check boxes one after another. And I think that's why, although people have a lot of issues with this series, and they're all kind of all over the place, I think by and large, you're finding a lot of people are like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I give it a 7 or I give it an 8, right? It's not a 2, it's not a 3, because fundamentally, foundationally, he used a lot of the pillars of storytelling that came from Joseph Campbell, which is what Lucas leveraged and did everything with Star Wars as well. So for that, I mean, literally, she went into the belly of the whale, right? That's actually one of the stages of the hero's journey. She literally went into the belly of the whale. So, and then just the last thing, and I said that two things ago, but this is the last thing in the series. The coming as a Rebels fan, just getting to see them live action. Like, I never thought in my lifetime I would ever get to see them. And as big of a fan as I was, I mean, I can nitpick the costumes and some of the characters and that sort of thing, but I just loved it. I was just enamored by the fact that we've got these physical live representations of these characters that, again, I honestly just never thought I'd ever see. And I thought everyone did a great job. I probably could use more Zeb, but it's money, right? Think about it. Think about the scene we got from Zeb in The Mandalorian. He was on there for all of about 30 seconds. That costs a crap ton of money, right? So at some point they've got to do it, right? They're gonna have to pull the Band-Aid off and give it to us. But I wasn't expecting to see him in the series any more than what we saw him in The Mandalorian, just because of the cost that's associated with doing that much CGI. Now, if they go with something practical, maybe there's something that they can offset there, but I think that's really what left out. But as a Rebels fan, yeah, I mean, hell, we got Jason Syndulla, right? We got to actually see him, and it's just great stuff. I really enjoyed the series overall.
That's awesome. So you've kind of already gone into all the likes with it. Is there something that you just could not stand throughout the series? Was it like a lot of things, just one certain thing? Like for me, Hera. Was there anything that stood out for you that they just got wrong?
So yeah. See, I told you I was going to be biased here. Okay, so I wouldn't
That's
say
okay.
this,
That's
no,
okay.
I wouldn't say there was anything necessarily wrong. I would say there are things that were certainly probably could have done better, maybe, or given us more on. Let me start with Thrawn. Like live action Thrawn, loved everything about him, right? It's Mickelson, so you can't deny the fact that it is that character. Could they have done more to show us just why he is such a strategic, tactical genius and why he is a true threat to the New Republic? Probably. I think they probably fell short on that regard. What I would say is, and I know I just saw some of the comments in there. It feels like a lot of what was done in this series is really kind of that precursor. It is the preamble for whatever is going to come in the next series and ultimately lead up to that big event that Kathleen Kennedy promised back in 2020, right? 3 years ago, she said this is all going to lead up to something, right? So in that regard, in that perspective, it is a preamble. And so, yeah, they probably could have done more. In my polling of people that just generally watch this series, who weren't really huge, massive, in-depth Star Wars fans, they didn't really understand why Thrawn was such a factor, right? Why was he so intimidating? And I get it. So I think that's fair criticism. But I will say, I think in every one of those cases that I spoke to, people felt like he was intriguing and he was interesting enough. And I think that's probably a win for this series, or at least for a win for Filoni, because when we finally get him, he's going to have to, again, there's going to have to be a payoff. We're going to have to see that tactical genius come out at some point. And this may have done just enough to at least get people interested and acclimated with the character without really having given us the full-fledged, holy crap, he's 3 steps ahead of you, and we're down on our luck now. That really wasn't what the series was setting out to do. So I felt like Thrawn probably could have done a little bit more there. I felt like some of the it took too long to get some of the core answers that we wanted, right? Like what was going on with Sabine and Ahsoka. When we knew it was contentious, we knew that from the very first episode, right? And the fact that we had to wait literally to the very final episode to kind of get someone to tell us, here's what happened. And even then, I think it opened up a lot of other questions still, right? So I think that probably took a little too long to weigh in. Baylan Skoll, I'll throw him in there as well. Like, we still don't truly understand what he knows. Here's what I would say in defense of Baylan Skoll. I heard some folks, some other comments as well, so I want to address that. But yeah, we probably could have gotten more Baylan Skoll. I think we all could have used a heavy dose of Baylan Skoll in that final episode. I don't know how much was filmed and maybe shelved for a season 2, or maybe they're going to repurpose it, use it later on. I'm not saying, I'm not
think about that.
It's pure speculating, right? But the fact that you've got this main thread that you've now strung out for the course of 8 episodes, and you relegate it to a 30-second clip, that seems uncharacteristic. It does feel like that is kind of a foul, right? So I wonder if that's part of it. But I felt like we don't know enough about Baylan Skoll. And again, he was arguably the most intriguing, most interesting standout character of this series. So I feel like we probably could have done more with him. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until we get into further series and we find out whether or not they're going to recast. Are we going to get an Ahsoka series part 2 that's solely based in Peridia in this other galaxy, right? I'll hold my judgment until then, but I feel like I'm with everybody else. I feel like we could have gotten more in that series. And then the only other thing I'll add, as far as kind of the shortcomings, in that same conversation that I was having with people that weren't really diehard fans, I just wonder how many fans were just left like scratching their heads, like, what the hell is going on in this series? Like, if you were a casual, I mean, there's all levels of fandom, right? And we understand that, right? Some people are really in the weeds, like me. Other people are like, man, I'm going to turn this on, I'm going to watch it with my kids, and then I'm going to bed, and I'm going to forget about it. Like, I'm going to have to rewatch this later because I'm not committing any of this to memory. It's just something to keep me, entertained. And you're watching this series, and you got a lot of questions. You got a lot of questions about Thrawn, the Night Sisters, Peridia. It goes on and on. There's a lot of stuff. So I just wonder how much they were able to connect with that casual fan, the general audience, probably the 80% of what they want, who they're going for when they're targeting, subscribers. I don't know how many of those folks they were able to kind of keep and hold. We'll have to see how that plays out. But I think some of this stuff was a little too over the heads of some folks
there's some,
in Star Wars.
Lots of deep cuts.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, Kat, can I interject here real fast?
No.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I don't
really disappointed because you didn't get somebody who's comfortable on camera or good at speaking or knows
I
anything
know.
about Star Wars,
I'm sorry.
and it's really dragging the show down.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
Albert's
Wow.
like, I thought we were talking about Babylon
I-
5.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
My
I'll do
my
better.
brother. Yeah, this is my brother in this comment right here, Albert. He and I are already big fans. I got to
thank
figure
you.
out where you're at after this and go
It's
there. So
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Go, Cat, go. I'm sorry. I just had to bring that up. I mean,
you're
God,
fine.
it's excruciating to watch. I'm just,
Now, that's, I didn't have a lot to choose from, so I had to,
Right.
Yeah. So I have a question. Since you did watch Resistance, right? I haven't. That douche on the council, Soda, is his dad in Resistance? Is that who he's related to?
Yes, that's Kaz's
Okay.
father.
Okay,
And to
I
be clear,
wasn't
he
sure
only-
about that, but
Yeah, and he only appears in 2 episodes in that. Sorry,
Okay.
he appears in season 1, and he appears
Okay.
in season 2. In season 1, he is very tonally, he's still the same. He's very resistant, no pun intended, very resistant to the idea that Kaz is now getting caught up with the Resistance. Like he's taken this very kind of like, hey, we're above this. We're trying to stay out of war. In my own headcanon, he's probably a profiteering from war in some ways. Again, that's just me. I'm trying to make an excuse for it. And then later on, when in season 2, after he's joined the Resistance formally, properly, Kaz or his father reaches out back again and says, or Kaz reaches out to his father and is thinking, hey, I can leverage my dad. We need some help here. I won't get into the specifics. And Zioto is kind of like, no, I'm not helping you. I can't believe you're doing this. And then before he can even finish that sentence, Kaz just turns off the hologram and is like, well, I guess I burned that bridge and I'm not, I can't look to him. So, there's some really cool threads like that, some deeper stuff that happened, but you really got to find it. You got to really search hard for it. But yes, to answer your question, he's still a D-bag.
Cool.
That's
that
just
was
who
my
he
main
is.
question. I didn't want to come right out and say that, but thank you for going into that for me.
Yeah.
So overall, with the whole entire series, what would you rate it?
So I always joke that it's easier to rank and rate my kids more than Star Wars. I will tell you within a second who my favorite child is. But if you put me on the spot to rank Star Wars, this is where I struggle and start backpedaling, right?
I like Albert. I like Albert a lot.
Okay, so
I'm in here number 1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You get to go to bed later tonight. So I would say this for me is it's a 9, okay, and I also gave Andor a 9, and those are so diametrically different.
Yeah,
I mean they couldn't be farther from the truth. But I think for me it's right up there with Andor because of the tones, because of the themes, thematically what both were doing, and I just really feel like both are steeped in what I hold true to be Star Wars for different reasons. Like we got all the stuff in Andor that I always wanted that I knew was out there in Star Wars. We talked about it. If you ever played the Star Wars role-playing game back from the 80s, you were doing a lot of that stuff, right? There was a lot of espionage stuff that was going on because you were hiding from the Empire and that kind of thing. And we finally got to see it in live action, so it was like a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But I miss Star Wars when we have laser bolts, we have blaster bolts, we've got lightsabers, we've got the Force, light side, dark side, we've got the Empire, right? All those things that were kind of fundamental and core to what Star Wars, what Lucas did with the original trilogy, we got, if you really think about it, we did get it in this series. And again, I think that's why I keep going back to it. Everybody seems to have a generally positive attitude about this series because you can't deny that it at its core is some of the more purest form of Star Wars that we've gotten here in quite a bit. So it's a 9.
Wow.
Awesome. I'm so glad you came on, Albert. I'm so glad you came on. I had a lot of fun with that. So you're welcome.
That was like the quickest 20 minutes ever, Albert. I mean, we had some great guests, man, and you're like, wow, that was awesome. Albert, I want to thank you personally for coming onto an unknown channel. I don't think you and I have ever met that I'm aware of, and I saw you down there like the entire time, and that was really cool of you to hang out and wait. So thanks for coming on, man. It was enjoyable.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for having me, guys. Feel free to extend the invite, and let's just be honest. I only did it because of Kat. So
right, yeah, we know.
I mean,
most of this show happened because of Kat. Yeah, right, yeah,
right. So,
Albert, everybody else that came before you was pretty much a regular in this community, and so I didn't ask them to do this because everybody knows where to find them. But you're kind of new to, I'm guessing, a few of us. Would you please tell us where we can find you on YouTube and what you do and stuff like that real quick?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the host of the Cantina Cast. We've been around for 13 years, honestly. Been around forever. We've actually been on at Star Wars Celebration. We've been on stage 3 times now, I think. Doing podcast shows, yeah.
Okay.
But
Nice.
so there's my vetting, my credentials, right? But we're a long format show. So our shows go an hour and a half, 2 hours long. We're not doing the 10 minutes YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
We get into a lot of the deep weeds of Star Wars thematically, like we just talked about, a lot of Joseph Campbell, tying it back to world religion, real religion, world politics, that kind of thing. So but if you got to head out to cantinacast.com, that's our website. You can go to cantinacast.com/YouTube. You can find we stream all of our shows, but we do release the audio as far as podcasts go as well too. And so we cover everything, TV, books, video games, you name it. It's all getting covered, and to the nth degree, where most people do fall asleep after about 2 hours. So it's just fair. It's fair criticism.
It's your voice. It's like butter.
Yeah. Great audio, great video. Awesome. Wow, Kat, you just knocked it out of the park with this guest. We could hang around with this guy more often. Well, you're already picking up subs over there, Albert. So
thank you guys. Yeah, thanks so much.
Everybody loves you.
All right.
Well, I appreciated having you, Kat. Any last words before I unceremoniously kick Albert out of here?
Thank you for joining us. I loved it. So
thank you. And I'll
for
see
gracing
you.
us, and thank you for confirming he was a douchebag.
Yes,
So-
and I'll see you later tonight because we've got a puzzle date, don't we? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we're doing
He's going to
puzzles
be on
later.
we're going to do a late night puzzle stream tonight. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So nice to meet you, Albert.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Pete. Thanks so much, Paul. Appreciate it. Kat, see you
Yeah.
later. Thanks, guys.
Pleasure's
Thank you for
all
having
on
me.
this side of the table. All on this side of the table.
Thank you, guys.
Take
so
care,
much.
Albert.
You too. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Wow, that guy's awesome, Kat.
Amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He everybody's like, hey, great meeting you. And what a great cast of characters we had on tonight. I mean, every one of them in their unique way was just fun to have on. I think you guys did a great job having me foist a bunch of questions on you. So thank you very much, Kat and Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been great. I
Exactly.
can't believe it's over.
I know. This is it. This is it, you guys. I don't know what to say. So
Rafi goes, because I said, this is the last one. He goes, you're not going to talk to him anymore?
that's it. Yeah.
This is
Nope.
different.
Cutting all ties.
Yep.
Oh,
This-
okay. All right.
It would be a lot like
It's
many
fine.
of the relationships I've had with women in the past. And then I never talked to me again. Yeah, got it. Okay, yeah.
I said not.
Rafi's like, wait a minute. That's not what I said.
That's not what I said.
Oh, my goodness.
None of us.
What did you say?
God, but-
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
forgot. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
It just wasn't, yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
man.
bad, bud. He's busy playing his video
Oh.
games. He's fine.
Oh, boy. Just in time, my internet connection's starting to act weird again. But before we go, Pete, you know how I do for the entire series, entire season. Any last thing you wanted to get out before I get us out of here, Pete?
Nope. I just want to, again, thank the two of you for making Thursdays an exciting day of the week. And I look forward to hanging out again wherever we can.
Absolutely. Me too. It's been a pleasure having you on, Pete. Thanks. And I sincerely mean this because you do a lot of stuff for taking time out every week to do this with us. So thank you.
A blast.
Kat, before I get us out of here, ma'am, any last thoughts?
Just thank you so much for inviting me and having me with you guys. Like, this has been such a blast. I've been really honored to join with you guys. And also thank everybody in the chat. Like, without you guys,
Yeah.
like, this
Mhm.
wouldn't be half as fun because of your
Right.
guys that you come up with and stuff. And then we kind of giggle about it and talk about it. So thank you to everybody that joined us every week as well. So
Agree. Absolutely. The chat has just been off the chain the entire time we've been doing this. You guys have helped drive the conversation a lot of times, and I've appreciated it. And I watched, there are people actually catching us on the replay. And if you're one of those people, thank you so much. That's so awesome and so cool of you. And I really
Fantastic.
appreciate that. Yeah. You know what? And it seems like a few people tend to agree with us. My brother says, excellent show. Rick's down for a reunion in 5 years because he's convinced that's when season 2 is coming.
Cool.
G-Force, I enjoyed the three of y'all's views. Thank you for a great series. Thanks for always being here. But I will tell you guys, it's been a blast. I wasn't sure if I was interested in doing this again. And as soon as Pete said yes, I'm like, well, I'm down. And then Kat, it was nice to meet you, and I've had a blast with you, ma'am. So with that, this is the series finale, the series wrap up, and I guess we will see you on whatever the next episode of whatever is. But until then, let's enjoy some Star Wars together. Remember, everybody, just keep it cool, and we all don't have to have the same opinion, but we can still enjoy Star Wars. Am I right, guys?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See everybody, and remember,
Bye.
Cat knows hieroglyphs.
Cat knows hieroglyphs.
Get me the hell off this planet.